Introducing TrueDisc, an innovative new scorekeeping app for your smartphone. TrueDisc ensures that you get the most accurate data possible at all times. Not sure if you walked a little bit too far when you measured your last throw? TrueDisc stamps every misrepresented throw with our trademarked Internet Distance Badge before you can share it to social media. Buy TrueDisc in the App Store or Google Play for just 4 easy payments of $19.99 plus shipping and handling. But wait, there's more! Call in the next 20 minutes and upgrade to TrueDisc Pro for free. TrueDisc Pro allows you to get honest advice from the AI Pro of your choice.
Hey Germ, think I can make it over the pond?
Yeah, sure, Simon. Go for it.
I'm Andrew.
You know what? Go for it, but go for it with a Big Germ Thunderbird. That way you can buy another one after you throw this in the water.
Paige, should I throw a putter or a mid-range here?
So what is going to give me the most confidence to hit the gap? Will it be the soft beat of a putter? Will it be the sharper edge of a mid-range? Everyone was cheering Mugs and Smugs. Man, it was so awesome. One of the best moments of my life.
Paige, I'm gonna go ahead and throw.
Hey, Eric, should I throw a felon here?
Felons are awesome!
Well, yeah, but I mean, is it the right disc for the shot?
Felons are awesome!
All right! Hannah, what did I get there?
You got a 7, Dave.
Put me down for a 5.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Go to udisc.com and use the code TrueDisc to get the real UDisc Pro free for 1 month.
I practice a lot. It's a vice. An escape from stress, from work. It's my chance to just get away during the week. It's like meeting up with an old friend, you know? I'll never get tired of that sound.
Hello everyone and welcome back to coverage here at the 2019 PDGA Pro World Championships. We had a fierce battle out in the FPO division during moving day. Leading coming into the round, Evelina Salonen would look to get revenge on a Sunset Hills that she did not excel at last time. Katrina Allen fired off a 9 under par last time around, but this woman, Paige Pierce, 6 strokes back of the lead, would need to make moves early. And that is exactly what she did. Here she is letting off a bomb on the long par 4 hole 1. And after a smooth approach, she would have an easy birdie, knocking 1 off the lead through 1. Things would stay all square through the next 3, leading into hole 5. Paige would play the clean putter up, and after a short missed putt by Kat, Paige would gain another stroke. Down to 4 now. Here they are on the par 5 hole 7. Katrina plays the shot wide right. She's going to have a 45-footer for eagle. Paige, looking to match pace, is going to leak a little bit left, unfortunately. They will have about comparable putts. Kat not quite able to land it. Another opportunity to take a stroke. Doesn't land, and Paige knows how important that is. Meanwhile, Evelina's been chipping up for a birdie 4, but unfortunately can't connect either. Now, cutting to hole 9, Katrina Allen laces this drive wide right, as opposed to playing it up the middle, but it skips all the way back, leaving her a routine putter approach for the tap-in birdie 3, earning back a stroke she had just lost earlier. Now with the box, Katrina playing it wide right on hole 10, but Paige opts for the up the middle route. Doesn't matter which way you throw it because both of those are next to the basket. Katrina knocks down her birdie putt and Paige will do the same. Evelina is going to lose a stroke to both of the players though. Katrina still with the box here on hole 11. Doesn't quite put the mustard on that drive. Is going to find that out of bounds island. Paige making the correction, hammers it high and far and clears it. Katrina with the long lob for her par 3, unfortunately doesn't sink it. Paige with the 2-stroke swinger. Paige again with the box here on hole 12, rips this shot wide right, tracking towards the basket, and that is gonna be a birdie. Kat would match here with a birdie of her own, little downhill putt, but it gets in the basket. Absent from a lot of this conversation, Evelina just could not get it done on the green. Fortunately, these misses were for birdie, so she'd be playing pretty clean and bogey-free thus far. Katrina Allen here on 14 puts herself in position to take a stroke, but again, can't quite put one down. After a fortunate kick keeps her inbounds, Evelina, no advancement on the upshot, and with a chance to save bogey off the basket, that's going to be a double. But mental strength is Evelina's game here. She laces this shot on 16, putting herself about 15 feet away, no problem. Such a great bounce back birdie. Here, looking to finish her round out strong, she laces this shot up and to the right of that 18 pin, just inside the circle, redemption putt to finish. Evelina talked a bit about what it'd be like to be the world champion.
It's my dream and also so crazy, but I think we have still one round left, so let's see.
Katrina, with not much of a birdie look left, would play it safe, just taking the par or not. Bag on, she misses the putt. Dare she do it again? She almost misses again. Katrina Allen loses the solo lead on 18 while Paige taps in her par, leaving 3 tied at 16 under.
The gallery out here was awesome and very vocal, even clapping for my out of bounds shot. So it was just cool to feel the love, and I think tomorrow's going to be the same story. So I'm excited. Yeah, I'm just ready. I wish it was right now. I'm ready to go.
While all the chaos was going down on lead cards, Sarah Holcomb would be slowly and steadily working her way up from chase card. After a par on hole 1, here she is testing that out of bounds sidewalk, but no problem. She knocks in the 27-footer, getting her round started off smooth. Hole 5, built for the sidearm, she hangs it out left and parks it about 9 feet away. That's another bird. Catching up with her on hole 9, this is her second shot. She is based. She would have 6 birdies, no bogeys, and 100% scramble rate. That is nice when you combine it with the 74% fairway hits, meaning she was clean all day. Special shout out and moment of the day goes to Kristen Tatar off that same chase card, lacing this hyzer flip to the right, almost sticking the ace. And not to be overwhelmed, she knocks in the comebacker after that unfortunate rollaway. Checking in with our top 10, Paige Pierce, Katrina Allen, and Evelina Salonen all locked at 16 under, with Sarah Holcomb sneaking in 6 back of the pace. Make sure you check out final round coverage brought to you by Central Coast, as well as all of our other media producers this week.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Championship Saturday here at the 2019 Professional Disc Golf Association World Championships. Terry Miller alongside Hannah Macbeth. And Hannah, a 3-way tie for first place.
Gosh. I'm so excited. I can't stop smiling.
This is incredible. Of course, we're here after a slight rain delay that came in earlier today. And right now we're seeing not only the FPO pushed back about an hour, we're also hearing a little bit on the men's side, but we don't need to worry about them because 3-way playoff, or should I say 3-way tie right now, we may see a playoff later.
Yeah.
This is incredible.
You never know. I mean, there's some interesting statistics that I found. Evelina is averaging -5 at sunset.
Okay.
So she's only 5 down at sunset. She's tied for first right now, but she's only averaging 964 rated golf. That's 9 points above her rating at 955. Not spectacular for the World Championships. Her rounds at the Northwood Blue are really what's keeping her up here in contention, which amazing. But she has to play Sunset again today, and if she wants to win that world title, she's going to have to pull it off. Katrina and Paige are tied at 13 down for their scores at Sunset. All of them, for anybody who's tuning in, they're all tied at 16 down. I'm saying at Sunset rounds 2 and 4, 13 down, averaging 105, 31 points above Paige's rating, 32 points above Kat's. And then we also have Sarah Hokum in second place, the fourth one in my mentions, minus 10 at Sunset, averaging 1,000 rated golf. So these American women are really kicking some tail out here at Sunset. Evelina, not so much. We said it before in the broadcast. Could be that she's new to playing golf courses. I don't know, but I'm excited for today, Terry. It's going to be quite the show.
Well, and what's interesting to also note, Evelina has just as big of an arm as the rest of the women here, if not more so. So the fact that she's struggling on a slightly more wide open course is a little bit surprising to us, but it's funny to say that she's struggling, yet we still see her tied for the lead.
That's right,
so that's certainly not to downplay her.
That's
but
right.
How amazing is this? We're going to cut to some of the action. Those are our lead card photos right now, and they're just about ready to go.
All of these ladies absolutely dominating the field this weekend. I mean, Evelina at Northwood Blue coming out with the hot round day one, taking a -7 for the day, averaging 10.28. Second time at Northwood, -5, averaging 1,000 rated golf again at 10.05. She's really, this young 19-year-old Finn is just absolutely dominating the FPO, and I'm excited to see what she can do out here today. Like we said, she has been having a little bit of a struggle, but we'll see. Right now we have Paige Pierce on the tee. Four-time world champion, puts her disc way down the fairway.
Now, something that they'll have to account for here today during this round is a little extra skip, something we didn't see earlier in the week.
2014 world champion from
That's right, and if you remember correctly, on day one, Sarah Hokum came in with a +2 on the day at Northwood Blue and had complained, I think, a little bit about the tees being slick. And today we see all professionally put in PDGA permanent tees, and they're all going to be soaking wet, Terry. It'll be interesting to see if these women have any issues today. I'm sure the PDGA has taken tons of precautions.
And really matching Paige's shot, we see Katrina with a little bit more to the right.
And a little bit more florals today. That could be her secret.
Also just a bit right, however, plenty of fairway to work with here on this opening par 4.
And from Caldwell, Idaho, 2012 world champion, Sarah Hokum.
This seems to be the world champion of competitors changing sponsors. We've seen Paul Macbeth on the lead card, having just changed sponsors. Kelly McMorrin, we talked about a couple days ago, changing her sponsorship from Dynamic to Innova, and Sarah Hokum going from
Legacy over to
MVP. Yeah, thank you.
That's flirting with the left side, but she's going to find herself inbounds, no problems. We're going to be back after a word from these sponsors.
Passion is more than fiery emotion. It feeds the spark to start your day. It fuels your obsessions. It inspires your dreams. Passion challenges your fears, and it repeatedly bathes.
We have gone live now. The rain is cleared. The wind is down for the most part, a couple of 10-mile-an-hour gusts, but the humidity is going to start to rise out here. We're going to have wet feet, wet pads, wet discs. We'll see how our competitors are able to handle this. However, 6 of the last 8 world champions are playing on this card, along with one of the best new up-and-coming disc golfers in Evelina. There's going to be a lot of excitement out here today. The 3-way tie, it's all going down. It's super exciting. And as a matter of fact, my favorite fan that I've ever run into the course yesterday is out here again. He gets so incredibly excited at everything that goes on. Will you do the same? Let's go watch.
And Dixon Jowers will be checking in with him a number of times throughout the round, trying to give us some of the insights and information that we're not necessarily seeing here on screen. Also in the gallery, in the crowd that we're hearing of, 5-time Women's World Champion Juliana Korver is apparently here. I heard yesterday that she may have been out in the gallery. Sounds like she's here today. The question is, will her championship title number get matched today by Paige Pierce?
Wow, and if that doesn't excite these women, if being on the lead card doesn't excite these women, then having somebody as amazing as that watching you certainly will. So that's really exciting.
We currently have 6 world titles represented on this card.
Sarah Hokom leaving that a bit wide, but she will come in safe. There is OB to the left and the right. As usual, all golf greens and tee boxes are OB, but there's the OB lake in the woods that we see coming into frame now, and players are going to have to avoid that on their second shot, as we saw Sarah Hokom do.
I'm going to go ahead and say right now, I feel like Sarah Hokom has to be going for everything. She has 3 of the world's best sitting in front of her. She came in 6 strokes behind them today. She has to put everything on the line, and that might sound all too obvious, but I feel like there's nowhere she should lay up. She should be running at just about everything if she cares about only going after that world title. Now, she may be saying, well, it'd be really great to sneak into a second or a third if someone falters, but if she wants the win, I think she's going to have to be aggressive on nearly every single throw here today.
I completely agree with you. Sarah Hokom's actually, her total for the tournament should technically be 12 down instead of 10, but after the first day, she misplayed a hole and was assessed a 2-stroke penalty. And you have to think, just being able to fight through something like that in the World Championships, having something as unfortunate as that happen to you, and to keep persevering and now land on the lead card the final days. Really, my hat's off to Sarah Hokom, and I hope to see her play well today.
We watched Evelina's approach hang wide and out to the right. She's going to, at best, have a pitch out from there. She's going to be hoping to get up and down for the par. I want to thank Kathy for the super chat. I believe Katrina's mom is in the chat, participating, of course, watching as she goes after her second world title. Sit down. And good speed and angle there by Katrina. It looks like she'll be just past the basket. And she's going to be on about the same slope as the basket, not necessarily putting up or downhill from there. And huge crush here by Paige Pierce. Looks like she's going to back off for a moment. I think she hears something behind her. One of the catch-22s with such a large gallery, and a gallery that will continue to grow throughout the day, is greater potential for distraction. Here's Pierce on her approach.
Paige with a great approach to the basket. She'll be just nearing the circle's edge.
A little bit of a tester here on this very first hole. I know anytime we're watching the first hole of a broadcast, you always think, well, does that first putt of the day kind of set the tone? It can really give you a lot of confidence if you hit that, 20, 22, 28 footer, or if it doesn't go well for you, unfortunately, that may hang with you a little longer than you need it to.
Paige, of course, 82% from circle one for the entire tournament, sitting well in first place. So we have to think, because of her stats, that she'll make this putt. But again, first putt of the final day of the World Championships. There's a lot looming. As you said, she is a 4-time, looking to make her 5-time mark today. And the weather maybe not so good, a little bit of a late start. These girls are already playing a little bit out of their element. So we will see. But Katrina with a great upshot. She's going to be first in scramble, which means anytime you're off the fairway or OB or anything and you save par. So being able to have control over her discs has been the highlight of her game this week. And we'll see how she does as well on the putting green.
And Hokom, as she's kind of outstretched there to her left, it looked very uncomfortable positioning for her. Backhand, of course, not necessarily her preferred method, and it looks like that's short. And she, too, will be left with a tester and then some to save her par.
Hole number 1 coming in as the third difficult hole of the day. Of course, we have to understand that there are only a few cards because of the cut. It's averaging over par so far on the day. The only birdie carded so far today is Haley King. Oh, Evelina with a great aggressive bid from circle 2. She'll sit under the basket safely for par, but you really have to hand it to her making these runs. I mean, just absolute fearlessness in Evelina. You think about the sloping green and the OB water just right there, and she only sees the basket.
I can't distinguish exactly where the 10-meter circle or the painted line is, but it must be somewhere near where Holcomb is. I believe it's just in front of her from this position. And just off. Now, Sarah Holcomb has been very candid with me in the past, talking about she would much rather be at 33 or 34 feet than, say, at 27 feet. She is very comfortable with the jump putt. That seems to be somewhat of her sweet spot. Unfortunately, not connecting there, and she's going to walk away with the bogey. But she really, really enjoys jump putting, and that 34 to 36 foot range is much more comfortable to her than, say, 27 or 28 feet. I know a moment ago you were talking about Paige's incredible putting percentages. I believe you said 82%.
I did.
That is nearly double that we've seen from Katrina this week, as she has struggled inside circle 1.
She has. Katrina is first in fairway hits, park percentage birdie, and circle 1 in regulation, circle 2 in regulation. And there goes her.
Yeah, there goes her percentage. Our Sandy Point replay coming in early, and she lofts that one up.
That's a really big morale booster, Terry. Wow.
Right into the heart of the chains. A very solid start here for Katrina Allen.
That's much needed.
And Paige, very uncharacteristically missing there. I was about to say, and I'll still say it, even with the miss, if I had to take one player and say, okay, you have an obstructed putt from your knee downhill, I would put Paige Pierce in that position every single time if I had to bet my house on it. Paige is the player that I would put in that position. She is usually so good from that stance or that position. So surprising to see her miss it here early on.
That's right. And I'm seeing some movement in the trees in our frame here, thanks to our timely cameramen. And sometimes what happens is when a player lets out their putt, the wind can either take it up or push it down. And I think what happened to Paige is it just stayed high and didn't drop lower into the basket like she expected.
And that one seemed to have lifted, as you were mentioning that on Sarah Holcomb, but she finds herself in. Paige will tap in, as will Evelina. And Katrina Allen is your outright leader here in the early goings of our 5th and final round. We're going to take a brief walk over to hole number 2. What's the plan here?
Hole number 2 is a 331 foot par 3. The most common play here is the hyzer around the right side of the tree, which you can see coming into view, with an overstable driver. The main challenge that we've seen for these women on this hole is just the quick green. It slopes down, so it allows any of the discs to roll away OB, and the more right you are, the better. There's also the OB cart path to the left and the OB golf green to the right. Now today we do have Sarah Holcomb on the card, and she is a strong forehand player. So even though I suspect Evelina, Paige, and Kat to opt for the hyzer with an overstable driver backhand, I think Sarah's going to go forehand and try to flirt with that OB cart path a little bit. But it's still, they're all going to have that challenge of that quick green. And it might even be quicker because it's wet.
And the one thing we've seen when competitors are out on hole number 2, more often than not, they are going past the basket and then usually putting back at it. And we'll take a quick look at the leaderboard and see if anyone else is making a shift or a move early on. And scores seem to be I don't want to say stagnant, but no one is exactly lighting things up. Holly Finley is off to a good start, so I guess she'd be the exception there when I say she is 4 down through 6 holes. That's pushed her to 3 under overall. But Katrina and Paige, along with Evelina, still a sizable lead. I have 100% confidence in saying that our world champion is going to come from this leader card today. Of course, it's just a matter of which one.
Yeah, we've seen 5 birdies carded on this so far today, and we'll see what our leaderboard can do.
Sarah with a little extra emotional support out there. Not only does she have team MVP teammate in Jennifer Sawyer out there, but also her dog Ruby seems to be taking it all in. I see our PDGA Executive Director, Joe Chargaloff, is in attendance alongside one of the best photographers in all of disc golf, Alyssa Van Lannen.
Yeah, Paige came on your podcast on Tuesday night with Alyssa, I believe, and she talked about Disc Golf Tourist and their goings-on during the off-season.
Of course, we would want to welcome everyone to Croatia, whether you're going with Disc Golf Tourist or earlier, a month earlier, to the Drava Forester. Excited to see the scene in Croatia. But for now, we're here with Katrina Allen. You see Paige jumping around a little bit in the background. Katrina finding the wide hyzer route. This looks really good. And park job for Katrina Allen.
That's a great shot from Katrina, and you have to wonder if the confidence is coming from that last putt she made, or if she's just maintaining her stride of being absolutely fearless and confident off the tee. Paige Pierce today looking to get her 5th world title. 2010, she played her first ever world championships and earned 5th place.
Very similar line, but just deep of the basket that continues to roll away. But she does keep it in bounds, coming in, bringing that cart path behind the basket in play.
Evelina setting up the backhand hyzer once again, just needing to keep it high and wide, just like Katrina did.
She kind of splits the difference between what we saw from Katrina's release and Paige's, but a very similar. Oh no! And that one catches edge and rolls past the basket, out of bounds for Evelina.
So the difference I think we're seeing as far as movement on the green goes is the discs are skipping forward. They're not skipping towards the basket. It's going to be difficult for these women to adjust because there's only 4 of them and seemingly no backups. They can't watch the chase card or other women in front of them, and they don't have any experience here because, as far as I know, all of the practice shots were dry.
Oh no, and similar result.
Could roll back in.
It does find itself back in bounds after flashing in front of the basket. Here's another word from our sponsors on Championship Saturday.
I play disc golf because I've been playing since I was 4 years old. It started off just playing with my dad, and then I realized I had this natural ability. I love that you have to adapt every time you throw the disc. It's never the same. It keeps you on your toes, and I think it's something that challenges you as a human being. I chose the Lucid X Convict because it's such a versatile fairway driver, but in the Lucid X plastic, it's super dependable. It's like a beat-in Felon where you can just pop it nice and flat and it'll ride forward for a while before it hyzers out at the end. It doesn't move a lot on the fairway, but you are going to get that reliable, overstable finish.
Already hole two and we're back here at the World Championships. I'm sorry, I just want to jump right into the action right away. We're seeing Evelina with an unfortunate skip. We're seeing Katrina with another makeable putt. We're seeing Paige with another tester putt. There's already so much going on in this final round, and we thank you all for joining us. If you are here joining us in the YouTube chat, sign off. Let us know where you're watching from. We've already seen Katrina's mom. We've seen, the Finns yesterday coming out and showing their support. Let us know, where are you watching and who are you rooting for today?
I'm even getting messages from the likes of Jay and Des Redding, who are out there watching.
Oh my gosh.
Jay and Des, just two amazing individuals. Of course, Des with 3 world titles of her own.
Yeah, there's a lot.
In the FPO division.
There's a lot of FPO celebrity going on today. I really love it.
We're totally fanboying and fangirling
I
over
know,
here.
we need to relax. Sarah Hokum putting for birdie from circle 2. I had good power, just not enough fade, and she'll be looking at another tester comeback putt for par. Evelina representing Valkeakoski, Finland, and also Innova Champion Discs. She's 19 years old, rated 955. She's played 8 events this year, one of those events being her major win at Memorial, and 5 of those events being second place finishes. Oh, wow. She is doing well running at these baskets. I mean, she has yet to set herself up for a simple putt, but those circle 2 putts are just missing.
Pierce will need to convert this to remain only 1 down from Katrina, as Katrina is right next to the basket. Looks like Tina Oakley is again on the cart. Some caddy duties here today.
I think Tina Oakley was found doing an interview on behalf of Paige at one point. Paige was warming up and Tina opted to let them know how she was doing.
A good aggressive run. However, it looks like that almost turned over out of her hands as she was throwing uphill.
A really responsive gallery today. I mean, even when these women are making mistakes, the gallery is showing support, and I think that's really needed for FPO. We don't always see the large galleries gathering because the rounds are either early in the morning or they want to make sure that they're around to catch the men. So I just want to say shout out to everybody who came out today. We really, really appreciate it, and I know these women appreciate the support.
Paige cleans up. However, like I mentioned, looks like she will go down 2 strokes to Katrina as Kat is right next to the basket. We have over 4,000 live viewers. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. We'd love if you could go out and share the link and let everyone know you're watching live disc golf for the World Championships here on SmashBoxxTV. And Sarah with a solid putt.
I think it's incredible, Terry, that we're at the World Championships, and I feel in order to win today, the competitor is going to have to shoot 1,000 rated golf. We've seen Katrina do it. We've seen Paige do it. We've seen Evelina do it at Northwood Blue.
And I have to take back what I just said about, wow, being down 2 strokes. The deficit will just remain 1 as, again, it looks like the short putt has haunted Katrina, and she just cannot take anything for granted, and nor can we. My breath has been taken away. We're going to move over to a short walk on hole 3, one of the more challenging holes on the course, Hannah.
Yeah, so hole 3 is a 384-foot par 3. Players can opt for a forehand, so I'm assuming Evelina's a strong forehand player, Sarah's a strong forehand player, clearly. Around the trees or a slight turnover shot in front of them. You want to end up, most of the field wants to end up before those hazard bunkers that we see coming in, shot near the circle, and play it out for a par. The hazards surrounding the basket create such a small landing zone and that it makes it difficult for any of the players to birdie. So even though we did see Evelina card the solo bird on day 2, and we saw these women play this hole very efficiently on day 4, it really, you have to think, do I want to be aggressive here? Is it worth it? Even though I can do it, should I do it?
Lisa Fakis, I saw on that leaderboard briefly, 4 under through 6, also having a great final round here.
Katrina playing the same every round, just absolutely crushing this hole, but leaving it out a bit left and just playing it up and down safe for the 3.
Oh, Paige, I bet, is going for a towel. Yep, and she's come prepared with a large towel. Although these tee pads are only a few weeks old, looks as if maybe the finish on them wasn't to a disc golfer's liking of sorts. So a little bit of a slip, and Paige certainly coming prepared here today. And yes, this is, of course, 100% legal to do, as I'm sure some people will then ask. That one not sneaking underneath the tree. Of course, as we'll watch the tee pads throughout the day, and if they do apply a towel or do something like that, that's always going to be in the back of their mind. It's just one more thing to be thinking about while our competitors get up and throw their tee shots. Even if they do have good grip, ultimately, it's still something that's in the back of their mind. And Sarah Holcomb is going to land just a few feet from Katrina Allen.
Oh, I'm sorry. Katrina actually kept her disc out straight. From the camera angle I saw, I thought she had let it finish a little bit left. That's what she had been doing in the past, but that was an excellent shot from Katrina and followed up by Sarah Holcomb.
As the gallery moves down the fairway, we're going to move into a word from our sponsor.
I practice a lot. It's a vice. An escape from stress, from work. It's my chance to just get away during the week. It's like meeting up with an old friend, you know? I'll never get tired of that sound.
Poison ivy's itchy rash ruins the best day outdoors. Zanfal gives immediate relief, washes away the toxin, stops the horrific itch. Safe for kids and pets. No downtime. Got poison ivy? Get Zanfal. It works.
And we're back here on the coverage on hole 3 at the PDGA World Championships.
Presented by Infinite Disc.
Thank you.
Thank you to Infinite Disc, more so.
Paige didn't get off to as good of a start on this hole as she wanted, but she's still going to have the opportunity to par as long as she can get her disc somewhere inside the circle.
This is a very challenging approach shot.
She's going to end up in the bunker just short of the basket. The bunkers will give the players a penalty stroke, but they will play from behind their disc.
Again, being this far back on the approach shot makes for a very challenging. And I will be quiet right there as Evelina makes it look so easy, but such a difficult approach, having those bunkers just before and just after the basket.
Evelina's game plan for Sunset today is take more birdies. Short, sweet, and to the point. This is her third time in the U.S. Her second was January of this year.
As we're watching the gallery, and you have to think that the gallery would likely be even larger had we been blessed with some good weather here this morning. So I'm sure some people are staying behind or possibly not moving around or out there in person as much as they could be or otherwise would be. But I'm guessing that gallery will still grow throughout the round.
Yeah, and with our live coverage, sometimes you can take it all in from the comfort of your own home, even if you're only miles away from the course.
Or maybe even your RV.
Maybe your RV.
A solid run there by Holcomb. It does come up short. However, it sits right next to the basket.
I know you said before the coverage, Sarah Holcomb loves putting from just about circle 2. That's all she's been doing so far today. And I got to think maybe she would like to do something else.
Well, I know as opposed to a circle 2 putt, she would definitely rather be putting from, say, 10 feet or 8 feet, of course. But when she talks about some of those in-between distances, like I said, that 27 or 28 feet as opposed to 34, she would take the 34-footer.
Something I think is worth noting as we see Paige here putting for her bogey from circle 1, from inside the bunker where she'll receive a penalty, is Katrina has the only birdie for the day so far on hole 1. And this is the lead card of the World Championships.
And that's all FPO competitors, you're saying, or is that just our lead card?
Oh, just for our lead card. It's just interesting. You would think, clearly we've seen some misfortune, but you would think that there would be more of a push today.
Sure. Well, I believe we're also going to catch up with Dixon Jowers in just a moment as we see Paige Pierce fixing the sand trap she was standing in. And then angrily rips the rake. No. All right. As Dixon approaches, I think he's going to give us some information. It looks like we may be joined.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. What a special treat. Unbelievable.
Announced that 5-time world champ Juliana was here. What are you doing here?
It's a surprise to me, too.
Yep.
I was working in Indianapolis this week, and when you leave the airport, there's a sign right there for Peoria. And about 5 seconds past the sign, it dawned on me what's happening in Peoria this week.
I know that word.
Changed my exit flight, and here I am.
Okay, so you're a 5-time world champ. Paige is a 4-time world champ. If she were to hold it out, and now she's got a 2-shot deficit, if she were able to come back and win, is that like you're losing your 5-time title, or is it like we're buddies now and there's a secret handshake that the rest of the world doesn't know?
Well, I really hope that it doesn't take away from my history.
Yeah, sure.
No. So whether justified or not, at least I like to think that some of my efforts and some of my accomplishments have helped the sport get to where it's at.
Oh, well, sure.
So I hope that there are many, many 5 times and more than that world champions in the women's division in the future. Yeah. And a friend of mine sent me an article about the mythical 5-timers club for the Saturday Night Live hosts.
Right. Oh, I remember that.
So
Steve Martin and
exactly. So I feel like I have to be here in case that happens.
Sure.
You know, she needs to know physically how to get into the clubhouse. So
Okay.
she needs a special handshake, and I'm here to offer that to her.
A special handshake and a JK putter.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Wow. I have so many female Innova competitors that putt with JK ABRs that I'm like losing my mind right now. That is so incredible, and we're so thankful for Juliana for joining our coverage today. And we just saw Katrina just throw yet another textbook beautiful shot on hole 4. It's a 345-foot par 3, and the fairway, as you can see, travels downhill and over the OB pond. That pond's about 250 feet from the tee.
And coming up just short of the bunker is Sarah Hokum. Yes, that was a backhand. Some people have asked, does she throw them? Of course she does.
That is a great backhand from Sarah Hokum.
Exactly. I know she's worked on it quite a bit over the years, and she usually keeps it reserved for an absolute backhand hole or situation, and this being one of them.
Evelina keeping that a bit tight.
Oh, that needs to sit and not find the water's edge. And another bad roll for Evelina. She's going to be out of bounds here on hole number 4. And here's Paige Pierce.
Just want to give a quick U-Disc update. Hannah Blomroos carding 3 birdies in her last 3 holes, shooting -2 for the round and moving herself up to solo 4th place. Again, Sarah Hokum has that great backhand that we saw earlier, and again, she's putting for birdie from circle 2.
And Paige Pierce with too much power should go past the pin. We're going to listen to a word from our sponsors.
For the dreamers, the planners, thrill seekers, and chill seekers. For the adventurous, the curious, the creative, and the passionate. For the young and the young at heart. For her, for him, for everyone.
Sad. We saw that quick commercial from USDGC. Juliana Korver, I know I keep talking about her, I'm really sorry. Actually, the only FPO woman to place high enough to cash at USDGC. Fun fact.
I was about to say, was she somewhere around 50th place?
Oh, it was up there. I
Yeah.
don't have it in front of me, unfortunately, but
Yeah, I think back to those moments many years ago. And Juliana, talking about, some of the influence maybe that she's had, of course, just one of the greatest ambassadors we've ever seen, not just for women's disc golf, but for disc golf in general.
absolutely.
And it's awesome. I know she travels quite frequently for her job. So to have her be in Indianapolis and then, like she said, reroute herself to come see the finish of the World Championships, very cool to see.
Paige Pierce, of course, has the USDGC Performance Flight Championship. Oh, wow.
Her
Paige
first
with
circle
absolute-
2 putt
Yes,
of the week.
I think of the World Championships, and could not come a moment too soon.
The Sandy Point replay.
Oh wow, dead center chains and everything. What a great run from Paige.
And
Just
she
amazing.
chases it down with enthusiasm.
She's gonna clean up that bogey on hole 3 with a birdie on hole 4.
Just incredible. Now, Evelina is going to be looking at a circle 2 putt from 1 meter inside of the water's edge, and this will be to save her par.
And she's gonna leave that just a bit short. I have to wonder if maybe the nerves and the excitement from what we just saw from Paige is maybe getting to her a little bit. 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 A little bit Terry, do you think it's intimidating for Paige to have Juliana there watching? It's like a physical reminder of what could be.
I don't think so. I think Paige has been so dialed and focused, and she's such a professional that there's certain things that may nerve her. I'm not thinking that's one of them, as unfortunately Sarah Holcomb cannot connect here. And that's, of course, not to take anything away from Juliana's presence in any capacity. But of all things that would possibly shake or rattle Paige at this point, I don't think that's specifically one of them. But it's an honor to have her out here.
Katrina now putting for birdie from circle 2, facing the gallery and the OB pond. From circle 1, I'm sorry. She cashes that in fearlessly for her second birdie on the day, bringing her score to -2 for the round, -18 total. Still 2 strokes above Paige Pierce.
And Evelina, unfortunately, has continued to struggle here. She'll tap in. That will be for a bogey 4, as we see that she has gone 2 over here and now has a 4-stroke deficit to Katrina Allen. Sarah Holcomb's in for the par. They have a medium-sized walk over to hole number 5. Or correction, hole number 4. Nope, hole number 5. I was correct, as my preview was slightly throwing me off. I apologize. We'll blame the control center on that one. Houston, we have a problem. Here we are in hole 5.
Hole 5 is a 246-foot par 3. Player shots need to come through this very small gap off the tee and over an OB pond to the right. This short hole is still a must-get birdie for these competitors. I've said it before, and I've say it again. This is going to be a tester for them. The forehand is a popular option here. I believe we saw Evelina take that yesterday, and Sarah Holcomb, I'm sure, will take it today. But I suspect we'll still see a lot of straight putter shots from here as well. The only trouble being the OB pond left, or maybe putting your disc out a bit too straight, having it fade out to the right, etc.
Check 1, 2, 1, 2. We're off. All right, after a quick mic check, it looks like we are back and ready. Katrina Allen still with the honors, 2 under through the first 4 holes. A great start. And as you mentioned a moment ago, Hannah, this is a must-get birdie here.
It is, and it looks like she's lining up that backhand putter shot as we talked about earlier. Going towards the basket. I don't suspect it. Yeah, okay. So I didn't suspect it to go OB. I mean, the way that the skips have been happening, they haven't been as aggressive as we've seen in the past. Still a great shot from Kat, giving herself another birdie opportunity from circle 1. Katrina 50% from circle 1 today. Only 4 holes in with 100% fairway hits. No bogeys on the day. She can't say the same for her competitors.
Paige with a putter off the tee, asking for it to sit down, and she is just past the pin.
Just trust yourself, Paige. That was a great shot. Sarah Holcomb lining up the forehand as I suspected.
And
excellent shot from Sarah Holcomb. Again, the forehand just taking out all of the OB out of consideration here. We'll see what Evelina does. It looks like she's lining up the backhand, but she is known for her forehand as well.
Little hyzer finish.
Oh.
Oh, wow. And too much power, actually. They're going to have a brief walk around the lake. We'll be right back.
I'm Cale Aviska from Minnesota, and you're watching SmashBoxxTV, baby.
Welcome back, everyone, as we're watching Evelina approach her lie that she's gone what looks to be outside of circle one. She can be aggressive with this putt. She doesn't have to worry about water possibly looming behind her. Of course, there is a chance of a roll away, but she's not thinking that right now.
She's coming so close with these bids, but none of them are connecting with the basket. Putting seems to have been Evelina's struggle all week.
Which is interesting to note because when she does putt and she connects, she looks so confident and sure of herself. So it's surprising to hear that she's had these struggles. Now, here's Katrina. This looks to be about the same distance from the previous putt that we saw her make on hole number 4.
And she is opting for the straddle here, Terry. She's had success with that in the past. Just a bit low.
And what I was about to say is that Katrina's most notable missed putts in the last day and a half or so have been very, very short, maybe even from the distance she's at now, as opposed to where she was just putting from. I feel like she's more comfortable at 15 or 18 feet than she is even at 8 or 10 feet right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's the must-get ones that are so short that I feel like she struggled. But there, that was only 15. And just like that, Paige Pierce picks up another stroke. My heart is just racing right now as we're watching this unfold.
Yeah, and Katrina she's no stranger to this stage. I mean, she's been competing in professional events since 2010. And even though she commented she'd like to see more competition played at Northwood Blue, which is interesting because both her and Paige were outplayed by Evelina twice there.
Katrina's still with her bag on, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm just kind of noticing like what her mannerisms are as she continues to struggle, but go on.
Well, Katrina has been finishing really well this year. I mean, she had those 3 consecutive wins on all golf courses.
Yeah. Well, they are through 5. We'll be back in a moment.
Hole number 6 is a 712-foot par 5. Similar to hole 1, the play is to throw a reliable driver that will achieve as much distance as possible. If our competitors are able to achieve great distance off the tee, then the aggressive play would be to throw over the OB pond. The pond is 515 feet off of the tee and will give our competitors an opportunity and look at eagle. Otherwise, players may choose to lay up short of the pond and either finish playing it out for a birdie or earn a par. Yesterday we saw Haley King card, I believe, her first eagle in her career. I'm not sure.
She very excitedly wanted to make sure that I knew that as I watched her exit the clubhouse. And yes, of course, awesome to see Haley King, one of our young and upcoming superstars here in the sport.
Hole 6 has no eagles on the day, but several birdies from our field. If you'd like to follow along with us and look at these stats yourself, you can go to udisclive.com. Check that out.
Hannah, don't tell them all of our secrets. It makes us sound a little bit smarter if we just act as if we somehow researched all these stats and information. Really, they're accessible to everybody on UDisc Live, as Hannah just mentioned them.
Pro tip.
Here's Paige Pierce on the tee. She's going to check her footing. We'll see if she opts for the towel or not. It doesn't look like she needs it.
Hole 6 playing as the 11th most difficult hole today. We've seen 9 players card the birdie, 6 pars, and only 1 bogey. Paige Pierce taking her time, lining up her shot, gathering herself and staying focused.
And this is a crush. Exactly what you want to do. If you can find yourself with any position on this fairway, down and to the right is a little more desirable than if she were to creep up on that left side of the hill, because your footing, your run-up is going to be so much easier. That is almost perfect positioning there for Paige. All of the women would love to duplicate that effort.
Paige gets talked about a lot for her form and for her distance. And when asked about both of those things and what she would tell to somebody who's new and up and coming or wanting to improve, she said, I would say go out and find a park and seclude yourself for an hour and learn your discs. We get so caught up with what's new and what's hot, and we start to trail off into discs we're unsure about. She said, stick with what you know and work on repetition. So she can do everything with 100% confidence, because that's exactly what she does. Even when she messes up, she says she still knows how to fix it. And we see that today in the World Championships. She's made mistakes on the putting green. She's made mistakes off the tee, and she comes out and still is able to crush huge discs like this.
And Katrina Allen also, she practically landing on top. I was just talking about duplicating the effort, and Katrina Allen within 10 or so feet of Paige, another really good shot here. I know we've kind of maybe dwelled on it, but I think it's fair to do at this point. Katrina's struggles this week are exclusively on the green. She is absolutely killing it, throwing great drives. Her struggles have come on the green. And there she exemplifies just that. Such a huge drive. Evelina's will push toward the left side, giving her a little less ideal footing. That's a very long, difficult 2-shot hole. We'll be back in a moment. And we return here with Sarah Hokum. Sarah, not known to have the distance that we see from the other 3 competitors. She's going to be laying this up just short of the pond in order to take her 3rd shot to go up and over.
Sarah has yet to throw OB today. We'll see if she can maintain that.
She's kind of walking after it, and from what I can see, it looks like she's going to be in bounds. Sarah Holcomb has openly talked about how Sunset Hills plays so great as we've got a new spectator joining on the green. But Sarah said a place like Sunset Hills really can bring out the best in the FPO division. She feels like the tees are set very appropriately to the skill level of the women that are out here playing, whether it be the Ledgestone Open or this event. And she really enjoys playing out here. She's performed well out here over the few days that she's been here, but she really enjoys this course and specifically this style of course. And I think there has to be something to be said about watching someone like Paige Pierce yesterday, for instance, shoot her 9 under out here so that we can get really excited about seeing the excellent play and then the scores reflecting just that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you. I mean, but just to reiterate, I mean, Sarah's averaging 1,000 rated golf here at Sunset. That's 42 points above her PDGA rating.
And Evelina pushes to the right side. She's to the right of the OB water or pond.
Evelina coming in, shooting a -5 in total at Sunset, averaging 964, only 9 points above her rating at 955. It is a different pressure. I think Paige commented on that in her post-round interview yesterday with the PDGA. She said, coming out to a course like Sunset, we all know as competitors that we can birdie every hole. It's just a matter of how many we're going to get.
And Katrina putting more than enough power on it, making sure that she's taking the water out of play. She'll be putting back at the basket. With her control, I'm not concerned about the water that is behind the basket on her putt.
Katrina will be putting for eagle from circle 1. That's the closest she's been all tournament. The first round, she came up close to that tree. The second time she was here at Sunset, she came up maybe to the right of the basket, circle 2, and now she's in circle 1 with a look and 1 stroke above the field.
Something we recently noticed was Paige Pierce using a rangefinder. That's something that I haven't seen at all really from her this year, and she was trying to dial it in right there. Of course, rangefinders made legal a few years ago. She does not like her shot, and she's safe, and she's to the left. That technically will be an eagle putt, but a very long one at that.
It will. It's going to be from circle 2, and she's going to be looking at an eagle or a birdie for sure on this hole. Sarah Holcomb, the last competitor needing to cross the OB pond, is opting for the standstill forehand. Very powerful forehand thrower.
She's going with a standstill.
Unfortunately, I believe that has found OB. And I'm not sure, Terry, if it hit on the other side and then went in the water or came up short. It was hard to tell from the camera angle, but we'll find out shortly.
And then in checking with the caddy guide, I guess we'd have to pull up possibly the map or something to do with the caddy guide to verify if it is the water that is deemed as the out of bounds or if it is the wall. I know that sounds like a weird clarification or distinction. However, okay, and it looks like we might be getting our answer here. If she hit the wall and the wall itself is not deemed in bounds, then she would have to throw still from this side. That's assuming she even hit the wall, which we couldn't tell for certain.
A lot of the time we've seen paint surrounding the water out here as to prevent any difficulty or backups making a decision. It wouldn't surprise me if it was painted around and we haven't had to worry about it on coverage until now.
And Sarah finds herself over. They're going to make a brief walk around the pond. I believe we're going to have another word from a sponsor in just a moment. Getting
Evelina
back
with a great upshot.
just in time to see her very effective forehand to the pin.
We have to give her some credit. I mean, I know I keep talking about her. Obviously, she deserves it. There's a reason. But 19 years old, first World Championships. You know, I can count the number of times she's been to the U.S. on one hand. And here she is at the World Championships with these upshots. A lot of our players we see struggle with their upshots because of the pressure. Evelina, confident every single time. Putting, confident. She hasn't been connecting as well as she might have liked, but still her confidence is undeniable here. Speaking of another confident player in Paige Pierce, going for the eagle from circle 2 and coming up a bit short, but she'll have the tap in for birdie.
Paige thinking about those branches, and I'm not going to say unprecedented, but to see Paige remove her hat before a putt, she means some business here. Because that, I will tell you, I've seen a lot of FPO golf. That is not common practice there for Paige. So certainly thinking about everything there, from her stance to the tree positioning, and she's going to be right under the basket looking at the tap-in birdie. Katrina here is looking at an eagle if she can convert.
If Katrina can convert, that's another stroke on Paige Pierce. If not, they'll walk away with most likely the same score here on hole 6, which is a birdie. She comes up a bit left and short. And yet the gallery is loving to support these women.
And speaking of the gallery, I know so many of you are tuned in from around the world. Thank you for being here. Even our instant replay supporters and sponsors over at Sandy Point Resort and Disc Golf Ranch in northern Wisconsin, they're getting their cabins prepped for the next set of disc golfers to come in, but they're still taking in the broadcast, listening in. Love to see and hear it. And Sarah Hokum's effort is short. So big shout out to Mike and Michelle and the rest of the crew up at Sandy Point. Thanks for supporting our broadcast, along with all of our other broadcast supporters and sponsors, including Infinite Disc, the PDGA, and all others. And Katrina quickly steps up and will tap that one in. As UDisc updates, we should see that switch to a birdie. Or correction, that already has updated and has given her the birdie. She goes to 3 under through 6 holes. And Paige Pierce moves to 2 under through 6 holes.
Evelina carding the birdie as well. And we're going to check in with Dixon Jowers after our whole preview. Oh, nope. Dixon. We're going to Dixon now.
Yep.
Right, that's it through hole 6. Both Katrina and Paige had long eagle looks, but were just able to take the birdie. I say that like just able to take the birdie, but their drives were absolutely smashed. For Katrina, that's 6 for 6 on perfect drives. However, we've got those couple of putts that are just kind of head scratching, but it continues the trend that we've seen so far through the first 4 rounds. I don't know if you guys are familiar, in baseball there's something called the Steve Sachs syndrome or Chuck Knobloch disease. It's basically where the second baseman is having a very hard time throwing the ball to first base. Or Rick Ankiel, pitcher for the Cardinals, couldn't make the throw over to hold the runner. He ended up getting moved to the outfield. Let's see if Katrina can get a handle on this, because if she keeps missing putts like that, Paige isn't going to have to be great. Paige is just going to have to be good, and with as well as Katrina is driving it, she should be getting a lot more birdies. The other only thing that I'm hearing right now is Sarah's frustration level is quite high with the amount of spectators that are out here, the way that they're moving. We've got probably 20 golf carts going around, making noise and moving around. So let's see if that continues to develop and see if it affects any of the rest of our golfers.
Hole number 7 is the 575-foot par 4. This is the first change the women saw to this course since their time here in June, as this is a completely new hole for the World Championships. There's OB marked left and right of the entire fairway with trees scattered throughout, as you can see. If these women can get their drives up the fairway, they should have a relatively easy look at birdie and an even easier look at par. Yesterday, we saw Evelina and Paige card the lowly birds. Katrina missed her putt for birdie and ended up with the par. Sarah Hokum taking the par yesterday as well.
I want to quickly thank Dixon Jowers for the updates and the information. And I'm just going to say, as we're here in the state of Illinois, Ryan Sandberg, greatest second baseman of all time, not having any of those problems that Dixon was referencing. So I'm just going to get my quick Cubs reference in there. Number 23, Ryan Sandberg. All right. Enough with the non-disc golf chatter. Here we are, Paige Pierce. You see her take another deep breath before she lines up her throw. And not quite as wide to the right as yesterday. Looks like she might have caught that tree at the end, but either way, she's going to be in a very good position there.
Katrina with another great drive off the tee. Putting it nice and straight, giving herself even less obstacles to get around in order to get under the basket for the birdie 3. And Evelina seemingly following suit, keeping it nice and high. Great shots from these two competitors. Great shot from Paige as well. Again, like you said, maybe didn't get the result she wanted, seemed to have a bit of a bounce back, but she's in this and she's fired up and ready to go. Sarah with an incredible forehand shot off the tee. She'll land up and into the fairway.
Zuka is now producing limited edition color choices. Zuka can add custom embroidery to the front and/or sides of the bag. Zuka is now producing limited edition color choices. Zuka can add custom embroidery to the front and/or sides of the bag.
When I need to check the wind, I just let out my hair.
Disc golf is 90% mental. The other 10% also mental.
If you want to make new friends on the course, pick up someone's disc in the fairway by accident.
Stay getting birdies, my friends.
I can throw this disc around the world in one shot.
Never play disc golf too far into the jungle. There may be cheetahs.
Someone on your card can't recall if they threw a 6 or a 7. It was probably an 8.
See? Stay getting birdies, my friends.
Black Ink apparently doubling up on their sponsorship here during our final day. But we, in all seriousness, we'd love to see us double up on the viewership. We've got records to break here, folks. Last year's world's record for our FPO coverage. I know we are threatening that already. We'd love to see it continue to grow. So please go out, like, and share.
And subscribe.
And
so
subscribe.
You can watch next time we're live here on SmashBoxxTV. Paige again shown using that rangefinder. It's interesting. I've never seen that either. I've mostly watched her in wooded courses. I don't think you really need a rangefinder. A lot of the time the caddy book or practice will kind of dictate where you're throwing because of the wooded fairways. That's really interesting. Do you think she gets that from a DD influence or?
I'm not sure, but it is.
Maybe Eric McCabe.
I feel like it's certainly new or a newer development or part of her game.
Is it made of 14 karat gold?
Whatever it is, it's working because she's put herself right next to the pin with her back to facing the hole. What an incredible shot there by Paige Pierce.
And speaking of incredible shots, Sarah Hokum will be stepping up to her shot soon. Rated 958, averaged 938 a month ago at Ledgestone in June. Now averaging 991 for her rounds at Sunset Hills. These women are playing such high caliber competitive golf.
And that is one way to fix any form of putting problem, putting it within arm's reach. What a great shot, a forehand skip up there by Katrina Allen. I think the old adage goes that if you're having problems with your putting, just put your drive closer.
I think that was Katrina's plan. I believe I read that in an article not too long ago. Makes complete sense.
We have now crested 6,000 viewers. Thank you guys for joining us. A moment ago, it looks like we may have seen Sarah's caddy Robin use the rangefinder. That's something that I've seen from Sarah more often over the last year or two. As I know, Robin has frequently been on the bag. That's something that I've seen from her. So maybe if you really want to talk about an influence, that might be something that Sarah has influenced upon Paige Pierce.
Paige also coming out saying she's been practicing and putting in a lot more time recently on and off the course in preparation for the World Championships. And if you're doing field work and learning how far you can throw certain discs, a rangefinder will absolutely help you. Kind of teaches you when you need to club up or club down, disc up, disc down, either way.
And and finally getting to Evelina's huge drive, she throws a forehand. And man, some very impressive approaches here on point today here on hole 7. Welcome back, everyone. Terry Miller alongside Hannah Macbeth. Hannah, I will do it a number of times before we close out the day and crown our world champion, but I wanted to say thank you so much for joining me here again for the second World Championships in a row. Of course, we already knew this would happen, but the feedback has been nothing but gracious and amazing for you, your research, and, well, I mean, you put up with the entire Smashbox crew, and that in alone may deserve a little bit of a pat on the back, but thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's been a complete privilege and an honor to be able to watch these women compete and be able to share their stories and tell their histories and just open up the worlds of women's disc golf. It's about time. So we appreciate you guys putting it all together for us and allowing me to be part of the crew. I would like to point out there is OB on hole 7. There's been 100% fairway hits on this hole. 5 players have carded the birdie, no bogeys. Coming in as the 9th most difficult hole. Paige and Sarah improving that birdie percentage for hole 7 today. Katrina with the drop-in birdie. Just absolutely incredible golf from these 4 women. And with that, we have a star frame. I believe it's our first of the day.
I think we visit the Sunset Hills Bar up above and celebrate. No?
No, I think we should keep going.
All right. Well, I want to thank Central Coast as well, who I know is on the board, but also we've talked about them all week, helping provide the drone footage for our previews for this 292-footer.
Hole 8 is a 229-foot par 3. This is the second change to this course that these competitors have seen, and it is essentially just a slight extension of the old hole 7. It's still significantly uphill as hole 7 was, but the green now comes to rest close to 2 hazard bunkers on the right instead of 1 on the left. The difficulty is also in the tee shot, which we saw get the best of several competitors Tuesday on the first time they played here. The slight headwind either carried discs too high or encouraged competitors to throw their discs too low. I'm not sure if it's windy. I know this is Central Illinois. The wind can pick up or die down at any moment. But that was really all we saw. I know yesterday we had a lot of birdies carded. I can pull it up and we can see just how many. But Paige Pierce and Evelina taking the birdie, Sarah Hokum as well. And I believe Katrina putted from the circle twice, so she did have the birdie look as well. All of these holes are really gettable.
They are, and I think that's what's made things so exciting here this week as they've come out to this course. I'll again reference what Sarah Hokum had said even weeks ago, saying that just makes the overall golf that much more exciting to consume, to watch, and to play. Yeah. Having, I don't want to just say that confidence boost of getting birdies, but Sarah has felt like, for instance, that there's been so much emphasis on long drives and longer courses, but sometimes matching up the holes to the skill levels of the FPO field have been a kind of a solution to that. Paige Pierce, of course, I think she's kind of almost contrasted that by saying, well, I don't really care how long any hole or course is, having that distance advantage. But overall, I do think it makes for more interesting storylines and a little bit more competition.
Yesterday, Paige Pierce came out and said, "I won't be happy unless I can shoot a 10 down." Though she had several opportunities to do so, she still carded the 9 down, which is came in at, let's see, 1029 rated, so nothing to be ashamed of.
And just
And here she goes again with a huge pull and a very appropriate celebration.
You see her with the double fist in the air as a celebration. She knows that she peered the shot. Right now, there might be a little extra pressure on Katrina. I believe this is one of the putts we saw yesterday where Katrina was right there for birdie, and it was a relatively short putt, and she did not capitalize. She keeps her drive low, a little lower than Paige's. Not sure if she'll get much of a skip, but she will have a look from there.
Katrina and Paige will be putting from Circle 1, according to udisclive.com.
And of course, thank you to all of the UDisc stat keepers. And in our other screen, as we watched Evelina, and she's now moving off the tee, with these tees being relatively fresh, as in just installed in the last few weeks, it looks as if there's still a little bit of the excavation, if I'm going to go with a big word here today, that or backfill that is around those. And you see Sarah kind of wiping off some of the mud that has been then put onto the tee, and certainly has made for a little bit slick. We watched Evelina, Paige, and Kat actually all jump off the tee trying to avoid the mud, and I feel like you even see the 2x4 on the back. That might be a little bit of a pathway, so to speak, to get out of that area without stepping in the mud.
Sarah leaving her disc up just a bit too high.
Nick. We return with Sarah Hokum. She's got a standstill forehand with what appears to be just the right amount of power.
Perfect amount of power. She'll be in the circle putting for her par. Great scramble from Sarah Hokum after an unfortunate high shot off the tee. How much do you think the tee shots are affecting Sarah Hokum?
Well, one's got to wonder, is she started to think about the footing out there? And
It's absolutely obvious. I mean, on the last hole, just the amount of time that she took, not to set up her shot, but really just the amount of energy she's putting into thinking about the tee pads. Do you think, with all of her experience and her previous world title and all of the hoopla around her for this tournament, do you think that's affecting her negatively or positively today?
And Evelina, we're going to watch her go for her long-range circle 2 putt. It's definitely in her mind, and sometimes you can maybe even dwell on those types of things. And I worry that that might happen here for Sarah. And Katrina not even attempting at running that. She's going to lay it up right next to the basket.
Giving Paige the opportunity to make the birdie and tie her for the lead.
Up until this point, both Kat and Paige have carded 4 birdies on the round. Paige, of course, with the bogey on 3, but both have 4 birdies. This is for Paige to tie at the Worlds. And one of the few rare misses by Paige here this entire week. The one thing I've noticed is when Paige does miss from around that range, it is left side. And I'm not sure if she thinks about that or knows that or even cares about which direction she's missing, but it seems to be left side anytime she misses a medium range putt.
And just in the heart of the chains. Great putt from Paige. Unfortunately, she'll keep stride with Katrina and continue to be one stroke back from her. Evelina with her par putt. Safe and in the basket. Maybe a bit more timid than we're used to with Evelina, but there's a lot going on. And Worlds is 5 days. This is her 5th tournament. I believe she spent the entirety of it on the lead card.
So pars around. We're going to move over to hole number 9. Well, should not speak too soon as we're moving in. Okay. Again, hole preview. Thank you to CCDG. What's the plan here, Hannah?
Hole number 9 is a 535-foot par 4. There are 2 lines of play off the tee our competitors can take here. The low ceiling on the left for forehands or lefties, and the low ceiling on the right for backhands. The further down the fairway you go, the fewer trees affect your shots, but the more OB comes into play. There's an OB pond, cart path, and marked off area of the fairway that players will need to avoid when approaching the basket, which, as we can see, is elevated.
Elevated basket, adding just one more element, as if there's not enough trees, the OB water, and then an elevated basket. This hole has a little bit of everything. However, I'm not sure if you were just talking about the statistics. I apologize. Bless you.
Man, I felt that coming for such a long time.
What I would like to talk about is what we've seen here and how people have attacked this hole in the previous few days. When we're looking at hole number 9, I apologize.
It's okay.
Trying to find myself here. It is averaging as the 4th most difficult hole out here today.
Oh.
And when we were out here yesterday, we'll kind of compare that. Yesterday, it played at 4.36. Today, it's playing at 4.38. So if you want to talk about consistency or sneeze through the consistency, we see 4.36 and 4.38 over the last few days. In fact, thanks to...
Yesterday, we saw Katrina Allen card the lone birdie on her group lead card at day 4. Today, we are waiting anxiously to see who will also card birdies on this hole. I know Paige is looking for that birdie, sitting one back from Katrina. Katrina just looking to maintain her stride. So we'll see how aggressive or laid back she is with hole 9, but clearly it's gettable for her.
And
it's also important to note Hannah Blomroos moving up into solo 4th place, putting for birdie from circle 1 on hole number 12. She is 4 down for the round with 2 bogeys.
Wow. And a very little kiss off the tree branch, which that may have even helped her more so than hurt her, as Paige getting a favorable reaction off of that little branch.
So Paige is right where she wants to be. She doesn't have as many trees in front of her anymore, and now all she has to do is take into account the OB and play it up to the basket. It is a par 4, so if she can get her second shot into the circle, she'll have the putt for birdie. Otherwise, she'll be right there to card the 4.
And maybe not quite as favorable, but I don't think it hurt her too much. Then she gets the hit off of the trunk of the tree, and then that actually pushed her forward. So I would say that would be a favorable skip and push forward there for Katrina.
I believe Katrina will have sort of a low ceiling look towards the circle, but still very gettable for her. I mean, all of her stats are in 1st place, so she's been doing nothing but amazing things out here. Evelina, with a crush of a drive, hits some of the guardian leaves and part of the tree in the beginning, ends up seemingly 15 to 20 feet behind Katrina.
Holcombs will push out to the right. We'll see if that gives her a more clean shot. She is short on the group. And we're going to actually be back with a word from our sponsors.
Disc golf is a relatively young sport, but its popularity makes it one of the fastest growing pastimes in the world. The PDGA is a not-for-profit, worldwide player organization dedicated to promoting the sport. Like a long drive off the tee, disc golf is soaring. So don't just be a witness to disc golf's explosive growth, be a part of it. Join the PDGA.
When did you start putting with the guard?
Always putt it with the guard.
Really?
Yeah, it's got a deep rim, nice glide. Who wouldn't want to putt with it?
When did you start wearing glasses?
I've always worn glasses.
Really?
Yes.
Like I don't even know you anymore.
Of course, thank you again to all of the broadcast sponsors as well as the tournament sponsors, Infinite Disc being our title sponsor here at the World Championships. See both the PDGA and Dynamic Disc represented there. Robin on the cart. Let's see, we'll pull that aside. Wow, are they carrying 3 umbrellas? One for each of them plus the dog Ruby?
Perhaps they're different sizes or being over-prepared.
Just don't know how a dog would use his paws to carry the umbrella, but. And that is a solid shot by Sarah Holcomb, having to navigate underneath those low-hanging branches. She doesn't look pleased with it, as I'm seeing her in another screen. I'm not sure why she's not. Now, she did go a little deep of the basket, but she hit the gap that she was needing to hit and finds herself inbounds and on the other side of the water. I think that was a very well-executed shot.
I think the issue is she's +1 for the day. She needs this birdie to clean it up, bring it back to even, and then continue to push. Hannah Blomroos has carded another birdie on hole 12, taking 3 strokes on Sarah Holcomb, even though she's 3 or 4 holes ahead of her. Sarah Holcomb knows that. I don't know if she's necessarily a player who checks the scores, but she's really trying here. And
I can provide a little insight on that. Sarah Holcomb is. She absolutely does not check the scores. And that has come back to actually bite her a little bit. There's been times where she's been in the contention for the win, or she needs, she's down a stroke going into a final hole, and she doesn't necessarily know where she sits against some of her competitors. So I believe the conversation between her and her caddy, Robin, have been throughout the years that if she needs to know, Robin will then let her know. So it's kind of a unique relationship in that sense. Otherwise, she's not checking them throughout the round or throughout her play necessarily, but in those crucial moments, she may find out. And Paige Pierce does go deep, so she's going to be putting back at the elevated basket.
I feel Paige Pierce's upshots have been okay today, not as on point as we saw yesterday when she took the 1029 rated round, 9 down. You have to wonder if maybe there's a little bit more energy being put behind her disc because of all the excitement and the anticipation of being on the lead card at the final day.
Oh no. And I thought that might still carry over the water, but it doesn't. It hits. The question is, did it fall out of bounds? I believe that it did, but we're going to get clarification on that.
Again, what we've seen from the PDGA's work on this course is pink and orange painted lines around all water surfaces and perhaps all OBs. I know we saw that day 2 with Valerie Mandujano when she went OB. We saw it yesterday. I believe Evelina went OB or Hannah went OB. And today now Katrina is going to be playing from OB. This is a big move, Terry.
It is. I was going to say, unfortunately for Katrina, what a crucial mistake. And yet it's a matter of, will she be able to walk away with just losing 1 stroke or possibly 2, depending on how Paige responds with her putt.
Right. Katrina will still need to go up and down from there. She'll still be putting for, I believe, bogey. According to UDisc, it does say par, so we're going to watch closely. Sometimes it's hard for us to see in the booth where the discs are, but
and we see the players as they make their way around the pond.
yeah, so Katrina will be putting for bogey from circle 1. Sarah Holcomb putting for par now from circle 1, laying up her birdie putt. And it'd be interesting to me to see if Paige runs this. She did have a similar putt to this yesterday, and she laid it up.
Well, I will quote Nate Doss, one of our other co-commentators, in saying this could be a statement putt here if Paige Pierce can gain 2 strokes.
Wow.
And again, the raised hand, that's something we've seen more and more as her confidence has built. As we saw Katrina's score pop up, however, we're needing to see a little bit of Paige's scorecard. And Paige now with 5 birdies in the last 6 holes. She may have the outright lead by the end of hole 9.
Evelina with her
Great
birdie
putt.
putt. That's great. Both her and Paige near circle's edge. That's going to bring Evelina 1 under for the round, 17 under for the tournament, 3 strokes behind the tide now for leader Katrina and Paige.
Kat puts down her bag to putt to the elevated basket. And
Great
no
putt
problem
from Kat.
spearing that one in.
These elevated baskets are difficult when you're 5'5". I know firsthand.
Sarah Hokum isn't even hearing you as she dunks that one in. We're going to head to the back 9 with just 9 left to play in regulation, dare I say. What's the plan here, Hannah?
Hole number 10 is a 301. Nope. Hole number 9 is a 535-foot par. Which hole are we on? Oh my goodness. Hole number 10 is a 301-foot par 3. Sorry, the backstage is a little bit crazy right now. This is a relatively simple hole for these women, but the big guardian tree is a major obstacle to avoid. Players often choose to take the backhand route and throw a somewhat stable driver, crashing the tight gap between the guardian tree limbs and the brush. We saw that perfectly from Evelina yesterday. As long as players are in the circle, they should have a wide open putt for the birdie.
And again, thank you everyone for rejoining us. Sorry, a little bit of confusion as we typically will go to Dixon Jowers after the 9th hole. Little mix up there on the production side, but you're here. You're enjoying the action. Hannah giving us a breakdown of what you're seeing, yes. But you are hearing the breakdown of hole number 10, and here we are. Some people have talked about, myself included, saying, I'd love to see a final 9 at the World Championships. That's been kind of a very unique portion of our worlds for more than 30 years it took place. Yeah. We've gone away from it in the last few years. I'd love to see it come back. So in my mind, we're at the final 9.
Ooh. Hole number 10 to start off the final 9 is playing as the 10th most difficult hole in the day. We've seen 4 players card the birdie and 12 players card the par, but no bogeys.
No bogeys. Yeah, this is one that I feel like it should definitely be either a birdie or at worst a par. All of the women have no problems getting to this basket. The green has a little bit of a slope to it, but not something that they should have to worry about. I think the key is to stay away from everything on the right side.
Paige Pierce stepping up to tee after a great putt from her on the last hole, giving her solo lead over Katrina and the rest of the field. Paige has 1 bogey on the day. That was hole 3, and
you see the frustration there. And I was just talking about the right side of the fairway. That's where all of the trouble is located on this hole. And it seems to get up and roll for her. I think she's going to have the low-hanging willow branches and then the bush in front of her. She has a very obstructed putt. She's probably looking at a par at best. However, you can tell the women are thinking about the tee and the surface and then the mud that possibly collects even after the throw. And there's that bush on that right side. I talked about it yesterday, that there is almost a special connection that I've seen Katrina Allen had with that particular bush during the Ledgestone Insurance Open. She found herself near it or behind it each of the rounds, and every time she converted on the putt. So although it seems like it would be an obvious obstruction, somehow she's managed to act as if it's not even there and she's converted. So hopefully she'll just stay clear of it today.
Paige's disc came to rest near a maintenance supply building, If her disc is near the maintenance equipments and supplies, she gets a 1 meter relief. Sarah Hokom as well, coming out a little bit early, just hyzering out too soon. And Sarah is openly frustrated here with the tees. I mean, you've got to wonder how much it is affecting her. There is pressure. There is always an opportunity to blame it on something other than yourself. I'm not really seeing that much of a poor game from Sarah. It really is just her tee shots. She's still 90% fairway hits, but her scramble percentage is down to 33%.
And we'll see if Katrina fights right through there.
Of course
and
she does.
She's going to have the best look at birdie.
She does.
We'll be back in a moment.
Nice shot. Was that a Raider? Yep. Good little bit of turn and then a nice strong fade. Hey man, I've been meaning to talk to you about your pre-shot routine. It's a bit excessive, don't you think?
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, in a tournament you only get 30 seconds.
Wait, really?
Yeah, really.
Oh. That bird just razzed me. I gotta restart.
Again, welcome back, everyone. Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, along with Hannah Macbeth. And it seems like everyone almost has their own personal battles here as we're following through this final round here at the championships. Some are maybe a little bit more obvious than others. Some are physical, some are a little bit mental, but they all have their own personal battles as we're vying for this world title. Right now, clearly, it looks like we're going to see it is a two-woman race with just Paige Pierce and Katrina Allen. I'm not going to count out Evelina, but she's really going to need something that's going to boost her confidence and maybe swing the momentum her way. Again, I know she is just 3 strokes off, but nothing that she has done today really gives me this idea of she's here and she's ready to take the title.
Right. And I think speaking into what you were saying, for Paige, the battle has really just been getting off the fairway, giving her an opportunity for birdies. We saw her card birdies the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 holes. And now on hole 10, she's going to be putting for par from circle 1 because of her tee shot. Katrina, it's putting. Her putting percentage for the day is 56%, which isn't terrible, but she's already putted from the circle 2 times, twice. Evelina, like I've been saying, young, 19 years old, not as much experience and not as much competition experience this year, traveling all the way from Finland for her first ever World Championships, and I believe her 3rd time here in the US. She's got to continue to maintain a comfortable mental game. And then Sarah Hokom, as we were talking about during the break, really uncomfortable on the tee pads. Great putts, just nearly missing, been putting from circle 2 a lot, and it's because of her driving. Even though she's hitting the fairway, she's not getting it to a position where she can really dominate the rest of the ladies on the card or the people pursuing her in the rest of the field.
And we've seen 2 putts thus far. Katrina will be closest to the pin. Here's Evelina. Maybe this could be the momentum swing I was just mentioning. Get her off to a good start on the back 9.
Oh, wow.
It was a great run.
Inches and all smiles from Evelina. She knew it's either going in and going to be incredible or she's getting a par. Katrina, not known for her strong putting this week. Closest to the basket after her drive, going to have the best shot at birdie from circle 1. Yes. She says, Hannah Macbeth, please be quiet. Take a seat. It's a great putt from Katrina, and she'll come back and tie Paige Pierce.
Speaking of taking a seat, we are located right here at Sunset Hills. We'd like to thank the entire staff and crew for allowing us to set up our booth for the entire week right here underneath Mashy's Pub in Sunset Hills.
This is Paige Pierce for par. It seems there's some disturbances on the green, maybe some unruly spectators. unaffected. She makes her par putt and will stay at 4 down for the round, tied with Katrina, and tied with Katrina as well, shooting 20 down overall for the tournament.
And we will have a check-in with Dixon Jowers. I cannot promise or guarantee if we'll have any NBA or NFL or MLB references, but let's see what he has to say and how the action is heating up out on the course. Dixon, what do you got for us, buddy? Dixon, calling all Dixon. All right. Well, Dixon Jowers is apparently off. I think he went to go swim after the frog that we saw on the previous hole. He's got a weird connection to frogs, but so it sounds like we'll catch up with him after the next hole.
Speaking of baseball, this whole interaction with Dixon today has been a really big swing and a miss. That's the one putt. That's the one pun I will make all day. Oh my goodness.
Well, as we said, we're going to move over to hole number 11. Plenty of challenge here on 11, mainly because they've added an artificial out-of-bounds area. And that's something that's actually new that we didn't see it in exactly the same way at the Ledgestone a few years ago. So they've added some tee pads, they've added some artificial out-of-bounds, and they've done a few things to change up this course just ever so slightly here between Ledgestone and here for the World Championships.
And we've seen it come into play multiple times during the World Championships.
Yes, we have, and we briefly looked at the scores to see Paige and Kat 3 strokes out in front of Evelina, and a moment ago that was Seth. Seth is largely responsible, I would say somewhere in the 80 to 90% responsible for the Sunset Hills course coming into existence. I believe he may have even funded the initial set of baskets installed here at this property a few years ago. So thank you as he was out there sweeping the tees for the women. Now here's
Our
Katrina
co-leader.
Allen. Needs to sit down. And Katrina was uncertain as she couldn't see initially. She waited for the crowd's reaction. And just like that, after tying up with Paige Pierce, Katrina Allen out of bounds here on hole number 11. Unbelievable.
I believe this is one of the first times I've seen Katrina struggle off the tee all
Correct.
The entirety of this competition. This is 5 days long. She's played 18 holes for the last 4 days, so I'll let everyone at home do the math. And this is the first time on hole 11 on the final day that I've really seen such a mistake from her off the tee.
We'll see if Paige Pierce can capitalize. She's going to need that to hook up. It's got a really good angle coming in at the basket. And she's past the out of bounds. We may have a 2-stroke swing here if Paige Pierce can convert and if Katrina Allen doesn't get up and down to save her par.
Yeah, Katrina will be putting for par from circle 2, Paige putting for birdie from circle 1. Here's Evelina Salonen. Seemingly
Is pushing left where she shouldn't be. I knew she was going to clear the out of bounds as much as that was filtering to the left side. And this is a really tough one for Sarah Holcomb because I'm not sure she has the full distance to get all the way to the pin. So if she were to throw her drive at 90 to 100% power, she would find herself in the out of bounds. So it looks like she's doing just that. And she is actually throwing with less power to not bring that OB territory into play. We're going to move down the fairway with the massive gallery. We'll be back in a moment.
Poison ivy's itchy rash ruins the best day outdoors. Zanfel gives immediate relief, washes away the toxin, stops the horrific itch. Safe for kids and pets. No downtime. Got poison ivy? Get Zanfel. It works.
Sarah Hokum with yet another birdie putt from way outside circle one. She's going to play up her par.
I know I said at the top of the show that Sarah Hokum should be going for everything, and I believe that, but this is one of the situations where her throwing a max power drive could easily find her inside of that out of bounds area. So I love that she stuck to a game plan. She decided to let off just a little bit to make sure she came up short of the OB. I love the idea of being aggressive, but you don't want to give away anything either.
Absolutely, and I think we can all take a note from that. That's one of the fun things about watching these women compete on this course. Every hole is gettable for them at some point, but we're still going to see their mental games come into play with situations like that.
Sit down has Evelina right off the front of the basket, and it does luckily sit down for her. So now Katrina will have to have a discussion with the group as to where she was last in bounds. I feel as if Katrina will actually lay this up. I think she's going to just try and put this next to the basket.
Katrina playing 297 events in total for her PDGA career. 157 of those were wins. Oh, she's looking to get another one today, but just going to come up a little bit short on this putt. Still great bid from Katrina. I mean, right on line and everything, just a little bit low.
And I'll eat my words. I was incorrect. She definitely was going at that. I thought Katrina, however, worried about a potential roll away, may just try and put this one next to the basket. So that was a complete miscall by myself. But here's Paige Pierce for a 2-stroke swing, and she converts. Incredible. 6 birdies in the last 8 holes for Paige Pierce as she moves to 21 under par.
Evelina's going to drop in another par. She's only -1 for the round and sitting at 17 down, slowly falling behind the rest of the leaders.
Katrina will set her bag down. We have a very lengthy walk, but first let's check in with Dixon.
All right, well, we're going to walk across the road. We've got 7 holes left in this championship. That 2-stroke swing now goes in the favor of Paige. We've had strokes exchanged on the last 3 holes. But did we expect anything less? 11 out of the last 12 major tournaments, Kat and Paige have been 1 and 2. The only difference was the European Open when Henna jumped in between them and was 2nd place, and Kat was in 3rd place. And actually, Henna moving up the leaderboard right now, she's in solo 4th. So let's see how they bounce back. You can see it in Paige that when she performs a good shot, she gives that fist bump. She tries to get the crowd going. Katrina is just kind of cruising right now. She doesn't seem to be affected by the crowd movement, by the excitement of the crowd, or the quiet when a bad shot happens. She's just kind of playing her game. Strokes have been flying. We got 7 more holes to go with OB on several of them. So far this tournament, from holes 12 on, Paige has been 2 under par. Katrina has been 7 under par. She's got what it takes to put some birdies together. Let's go see if she can do it.
And thank you for the insight out there, Dixon Jowers, again, as they move from 11 over to hole number 12 in a moment when we talk a little bit about the whole preview of 12 on how challenging of a hole that I feel that really is, as we rarely see birdies. There's been a few, but
There's been an almost ace as well for Kristen Tatar.
Yeah, that's true. There was, as she splashed out yesterday. This is an interesting time when they can walk, and they have a very lengthy walk, like I said, from 11 over to 12. Maybe you can reflect. Maybe you're getting yourself more pumped up, or maybe you're, trying to collect your thoughts as you're going to. Now, they have to probably weave in and out of the gallery and the carts that are out there. Some of the fans, maybe there's some people cheering you on, some people giving you some words of encouragement.
Some people not knowing and asking for an autograph or a picture.
Yes, which is pro tip, not the ideal time to be doing that right now. But this walk, as again we're moving over there, I think those are all things that are going through the players' minds. And then I think of someone who's maybe a little more upbeat or happy-go-lucky at the moment. Paige Pierce has some of that momentum. What is she talking about as she moves to the next tee with her caddy in Tina? I can all but guarantee you it's not golf. And I think that's what's really interesting, is trying to find things that maybe distract you from the pressures that are at mind or at hand.
Yeah.
And that's where maybe a caddy or a really excitable fan or someone that you know could mean so much to you as they're walking and taking this transition from one hole to another.
I kind of always say, see a little, see a lot. You just see the holes in front of you and you're taking it one shot at a time. You see a lot. You see a lot of good that you could do. See a lot, see a little when you're thinking about the coverage, the galleries, the tee pads, the spectators, us, what we're saying about you, you disc, and then the rest of the course. What did Paige do? What is Katrina doing? You see so little of your opportunities for greatness. And I think Paige has done really well in the history of her play of just tuning in and really focusing in, but still being aware of what's going on. You know, I know you talked about Sarah Holcomb maybe having her caddy to check UDisc here and there so she doesn't have to, but I think Paige is relatively aware of where everyone is sitting, and she really wants this, Terry. I mean, she's been fighting for the past few years. It took her, I think she said 360 days to get over the last World Championships, which she fell short to Paige Bierkes, and here she is again, 2 strokes on the lead with, 7 to play. And here we go, hole 12.
Hole 12 coming in as the third most difficult hole on the course. Just 9% of our competitors today, that's 4 players, have taken birdies.
Hole 12. Fairway sloping down and finishing on a severely sloping green. There are OB trays along the right and OB pond, which you'll see come into play now. The aggressive shot is to test the water, which Paige did, or bail left and play it out for a par. If your shot hyzers too early, there is the OB golf green on the left to avoid as well, but Paige has done well. She hit the top of the hill. Normally the disc would settle down closer to the basket, maybe roll away just a little bit in your favor, but still, she's going to have a relatively simple putt for birdie from circle 1.
And we'll see if that carries enough, or maybe she'll get a roll toward the pin. It's got to not roll into the out of bounds area, and she will be safe. But from there, that is a layup all day long.
And Evelina has hit this line. This is the 3rd round in a row here at Sunset. She's hit that line every time. Really, she just got slowed down a bit. She puts a lot of rotation on the disc. I'm not sure if that's a finish thing. I know we saw that from Henna Blomroos as well yesterday. But it couldn't fight through the trees and got slowed down. She'll be putting from circle 2 for birdie.
And that's tracking towards the out of bounds, but they have put a few logs there to potentially prevent it. Sarah does not need the assistance from the logs. She is in a great position, putting uphill, pin high. If you're not parked, that is the next best position to be in.
Katrina Allen really looking to make moves here on this hole.
That flips up for Katrina. We'll see if it gets a little skip or ground action as it comes in. It's inside the circle, and that is going to be a dangerous putt. We'll see you on the green.
For the dreamers, the planners, thrill seekers, and chill seekers. For the adventurous, the curious, the creative, and the passionate. For the young and the young at heart. For her, for him, for everyone.
Star Wombat 3. This is a new addition to Garrett Gerthy's bag. This is the most utilizable disc that you can make do whatever you want. Throw it with the hyzer line low, it'll hold the hyzer. If I throw it with a little hyzer, throw a little high, pops up straight and holds the line straight. If I throw it for backhand about 60-70% and let it go about 380, 400. I'm gonna be getting a bunch of birdies with this at the World Championships this year.
Hannah, in talking about this dangerous green, first of all, I want to correct myself when I was talking about this being the 3rd most difficult hole. It played as the 3rd most difficult hole during the opening round here. So it was a statement, but I should clarify that was from a few days ago. And something else that I've talked about yesterday is watching how comfortable as we watch Evelina that needs to sit, and I think it's going to flop over for her, and you'll hopefully have a good look at par there. How comfortable someone like Paige is to putt from a knee to a basket that's below her. And when I describe that, this is the hole I think about every single time. I have photos, we have video. This just seems to be the position that she's in more often than not, is putting slightly downhill. She's usually very comfortable taking a knee. And yesterday she converted on that exact opportunity. Now we're going to have to see if Katrina Allen is going to want to be aggressive or if she's going to just lay this one up, as she is not nearly as close. I feel as if Katrina were as close as Paige, she would definitely be running it. Katrina's going to have to make a decision and stay committed to it. Does she want to run at this putt, or does she simply want to lay it up?
This would be an opportune moment to have a clue in or call in from Juliana Korver as to what she might do in this situation.
Is that like phone a pro or
Yes.
phone a champ?
I'll FaceTime Elaine in. She's in the 5-time club as well, so.
Just off the top. Also, I think out and consuming the coverage, probably from the West Coast. I believe we have Nate and Val Doss in watching some of the World Championship coverage, of course, missing them as they're pursuing their dream in their career with their Bevel Craft Brewing at the moment.
Well, we all know what Val would do. She would run that. Because I watched her win the Worlds in Emporia, Kansas, and she ran everything and dominated. So
Val, a 4-time champ, and then Des Redding is in the gallery virtually as well, 3-time champ.
Katrina is running. It comes a bit low, but it will be safe, so she will have her putt for par. And it looks like Katrina's going to take her putt first. It's difficult to see the distance and gauge it because of the camera angles and the angle of the green. She'll have a straddle comebacker for par. She will keep herself, for now, 2 back from Paige. It's a great comeback putt from Katrina.
It really was. And if Paige Pierce is to convert here, Paige would pick up a single stroke on Katrina.
I'll be interested to see if she takes a knee, and she does. Paige, as you said, notorious for taking a knee, giving herself
A little bit more even line at that basket. And right into the center of the chain, she acknowledges the gallery, and Paige Pierce with another birdie on hole number 12. Wow, what is that? That's 7 birdies in the last 9 holes. Yesterday, she talked about getting to 10 under. That's a number that she could see obtaining out on this course. And right now, she's on a tear with 7 out of the last 9 and 6 under for the round.
Evelina with a great putt for par.
We're going to move over to the island green found on hole number 13. We'll be back with you in a moment. But first, let's hear from Hannah on this whole preview, thanks to CCDG.
Hole 13, 280-foot par 3. It's only fair that the third most difficult hole from yesterday was followed by the fourth, as you were kind of discussing earlier in the coverage. As an island green, which is blind from the tee, most of these women are going to hug the right side of the fairway using something that has a reliable fade. I know we've seen Katrina throw her putter. We saw Evelina with the mid-range. You want it to come into the circle and settle. You don't want any movement because it's an island and it's surrounded by OB. I'm interested to see how Sarah Holcomb plays this hole. You can lay up short of it like we saw her do in previous holes. I believe it was hole 11. Or you could go for it. I haven't seen her play this hole yet, Terry. We'll see what she can do.
I think what we'll likely see is, at least in this position today, I would like to see Sarah Holcomb go for it. I'm not sure if that's been her game plan before or not,
Maybe
but
with the backhand.
I'm not sure if it would be a backhand. I think she may force something over, something with relative stability that she forces over and then has hyzer back on her forehand line. I guess the suspense will continue as to how we're going to see her attack this hole. this hole, although it is an island green, and you think about the swings that could happen due to that out of bounds, we saw 4 nearly perfect shots here on this hole in the past.
We did.
So I'm confident that they're going to have this one dialed in. But if not, there is that opportunity for a 2-stroke swing or even more.
I think it's important to note Paige in her interview said, if I want to win this tournament, which I do more than anything, I need to convert off of the tee. The less I have to putt, the better. That's exactly what Katrina said. And at the beginning, we were unsure. I mean, Paige wasn't really giving herself many opportunities for birdies. She did start her birdie train on hole 4. The first 3 holes, Katrina was beating her. She was shooting a -1, Paige was shooting a +1. So we'll see what they do. Paige coming up safe, but
It's definitely a misfire.
yeah, absolutely. And that can happen. I mean, this is the World Championships. These women are only human and not perfect. They've practiced and put in the amount of time and energy. Both Paige and Kat are previous world champions. She still has that 2-stroke, 3-stroke cushion on Katrina after the last couple holes.
And pushes left, however, that is a good-looking shot there by Evelina. She's at least pin high.
Evelina all smiles after her shot. I think at this point she's just honored to be here. She does have that competitor spirit, but it's tough out there. Sarah Hokum lining up the forehand, as you said.
And Sarah does get the green flag.
Katrina up to the tee, looking to get back on track here as Paige seemingly left the door open. She could birdie and get a stroke on her. Keeping it a little low.
That needs to get over, and it looks like it might get called out of bounds. Oh my goodness, just a few feet too low. She will get confirmation. She'll be able to take a look at it, but that didn't. Unbelievable. I do not believe that came in bounds. I will thank our spotters, and it looks like some of the camera crews going over there to double check as we're a little bit in disbelief. I think back to the 4 excellent shots that we saw here. No one really flirting with that low or that higher grass, and as in throwing it too low yesterday.
I think Katrina has been flirting with it for her last 2 tee shots. She's managed the birdie, but every time I remember, because I just had the same feelings and thought, oh no, she'll be fine. I kept thinking that's a bit too low, Katrina. Oh, nope, she's parked. She's a professional. Oh, that's maybe seeming a bit too low. Nope, she's parked. Perfect. And now today, I thought the same thing. Maybe it's a bit too low, and it just caught the last little bit of the brush.
And just when we were talking about a door opening potentially for Katrina to come in and pick up a stroke, take a birdie here on a hole that we've seen plenty of birdies unfold, she comes up short and is out of bounds. Meanwhile, Paige Pierce with a routine approach shot that she's likely going to be walking away with the par. As we're waiting confirmation as to the players getting into position, it looks like we're going to have Sarah Hokum. I need to give a quick shout out both to Savage Apparel and Legit Disc Golf, who have also graciously supported our coverage here this week, including the bonus MPO footage that we were able to provide yesterday afternoon. Here's Sarah Hokum.
Sarah with a great upshot. Katrina opting to play a provisional from the drop zone. I suspected she might. The way the spotter was looking at her disc didn't look too confident.
And that is, it's a great approach shot. And I want to further that and say that is an absolute great professional tip there by Katrina
Yes.
Allen. It seemed like there was some uncertainty. So call a provisional, which you can do at any point. Throw your shot as if it were out of bounds. And now her and the crew, or her, I should say our camera crew, her and the rest of her competitors will go make a verification that that disc was for certain out of bounds, which we believe that it is. But I cannot say it enough. That is a great move by Katrina Allen. She has retrieved her disc. I'm seeing in another angle, and it was in fact out of bounds. But kudos to Katrina Allen for that call.
Evelina with a near miss for birdie. Evelina has been having trouble connecting. She's not made as many mistakes, I think, keeping her in contention for it, but she is really struggling on the putting green, 25% from circle one.
Pierce will gain another stroke. Just when we thought off the tee that she would potentially lose a stroke, she instead picks up another one here on hole number 13. And all of the momentum here of this tournament is in Paige Pierce's favor. Four-stroke advantage for Paige Pierce. Here's Dixon Jowers from the course.
All right, I saw a little, an interesting change that I perceived in Paige after she hit that putt on hole 12. It was kind of a little wave, whereas several holes before when she was hitting those putts, it was a definite fist bump. It's almost like she felt the confidence of that three-shot lead. And I was saying this to her caddy, Tina, and I said, she looks like she's really calm and going through this. And Tina goes, she is not calm. She's just trying to be calm. So Paige picking up another stroke of Katrina. Paige getting a good break of, I mean, that was a really bad grip lock that could have gone any number of places. Hit a tree, could have been bad. Kicked out to the middle, she's able to save the three. Katrina was short by about 4 or 5 feet from getting inbounds. Paige takes another shot. She's up 4. It's getting kind of to that range of Katrina's going to really have to put her foot down in order to catch up, or Paige is going to have to make some big mistakes. Let's go see what happens.
Thanks to CCDG, we are going to move into our hole preview found on number 14.
Hole number 14 is a 329-foot par 3. It's a pretty open tee shot with OB to the left and right of the fairway and 3 guardian trees by the basket. The play that we've seen here so far is a stable fairway driver. Competitors will want to hit the shorter grass before the basket and skip up into the circle, giving them the best opportunity for birdie. The mistakes that we've seen are obviously going way too far past the basket and then skipping even further, skipping near the basket and going too far, or coming up way too short and getting no movement on the green.
And we'll see if the rain has affected any of the skips that we find out here. It has been a fast green, and every time we've seen a disc come in anywhere near the basket, it seems to carry way past it. This time, a little bit slower speed for Pierce, and that's an all but gimme for Paige Pierce right now.
Paige said her most memorable moment in disc golf is, of course, winning her first World Championships at the age of 19 in Santa Cruz, California. She felt confident in her skills, but had yet to execute them in such a high-pressure setting before. And she said, it gave me the confidence to believe I can compete against the best, even in a setting where all odds are against me. Anytime I'm feeling a bit down and out, I try to replay the events of that week for a little reassurance, and I've got to wonder if that's been on her mind this week.
We see Evelina match Pierce's shot, finding herself within 15 feet of the basket. And Evelina right now, right back in the thick of things, at least for that second place podium spot, as she is just one stroke off of Katrina Allen. And Sarah Hokum, also very nicely controlled forehand, comes in just short of the pin. Katrina Allen Would love to match the effort seen by the previous, and she does, possibly even
Amazing.
closest to the pin.
Absolutely incredible shot.
We're
from
looking for
Katrina.
birdies on the green. Welcome back, everyone. Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, along with Hannah Macbeth. And Hannah, we've talked about world champions out in the crowd, 5-time world champ Juliana Korver. There's Grady Shue, along with our reigning world champ, maybe only just for another hour or so, but Paige Bjerkes out here taking in the action. Paige, of course, a fellow teammate to Paige Pierce, who's currently in the lead. And Paige Bjerkes not having the week, of course, that she was hoping for out here. And she's talked quite openly about having distractions and other things on her mind as she's going to be getting married in a few months.
Great putt from Sarah Hoka. That's going to put her at even on the day and 10 down for the round. Still 1 stroke behind Henna, who's moved up into solid solo fourth place. Paige Bjerkes saying on Instagram, "It was an honor to be the champ for a year. To represent women's disc golf on the most professional level was a dream come true. A new champion will be crowned today, and I cannot wait to see the battle unfold. I promise you will see me on the leaderboard again in the future. Thanks for the love over the last year."
And a true champion and an all-around outstanding individual, her and the rest of her family who live and breathe disc golf and have been so crucial to the growth and development. And no doubt,
another birdie, sitting 7 down for the round, on her way to that 10 down goal, 23 for the tournament.
Katrina Allen with the closest to the pin here, and very quickly getting up and firing in. So I'd say they handled hole 14 quite well, the 329-footer.
Yeah, another star par.
Yeah,
Another star frame.
Star frame, yeah, star birdies.
Okay.
It's been a long week for you,
At least
Hannah.
there's no world champions watching me like Val or Des or
No pressures here. But again, thank you guys so much for joining us. We're looking at nearly 8,000 viewers that are here from around the world. We did it at the top of the show, but we'd love to do it again. Go ahead, fire away in the YouTube comments, either something nice and or your location of where you're tuned in from and how you're consuming and watching the coverage. Thank you for being here. We're going to move on to a very difficult par 4, hole 15.
Hole 15 is a 505-foot par 4. This hole is the third and final change these women will see on this course. It's a combination of old hole 14 and 15, and it requires a very demanding tee shot with tight OB lines on the left and the right. We saw Evelina go OB, we saw Kat come close, we saw Paige come close, and we saw Henna go OB yesterday. If competitors can execute that safe and long tee shot, they should have a fairly short tunnel shot for birdie into the basket, which is, again, surrounded by all of these guardian trees. This is a pretty must-get par 4 for Kat. I know she's gotten it in the past.
Well, here's what I'm going to say about hole number 15. I feel like if there's going to be any major swings, it will happen here. This is the hole that I think provides the most amount of trouble for any of the remaining holes. 16, you're looking at probably a 2 or a 3. 17 could be a 3, 4, or 5. And 18, I think, should be a 2 or a 3. So someone could get into trouble if Paige Pierce is clean off the tee and can get up and down for either the par or a birdie. It's going to be nearly impossible for Katrina to catch her.
And it's about 295 feet to the trees that the women kept going OB in. Their discs faded out left a little bit too early. Paige keeping it out nice and wide, not flirting with that OB on the left at all.
And that's exactly what I was about to say as I was kind of chuckling to myself. We saw all 4 women challenge that left side yesterday. Couldn't be further from it in what we just saw from Pierce. It looks like she even clubbed down, and then she threw it off to that right side. This is coming in as the 3rd most difficult hole today. And I love the adjustment there by Pierce. Good looking shot there by Evelina. Now here's Sarah Hokum. Her forehand, if it has enough stability, should be out in the center or to the right of the fairway. There should be no reason for her to flirt with that left side OB.
She must have heard you because that was an excellent narration of exactly what her shot just did.
Once in a while, I provide just an ounce of insight here, Hannah. I know you get all the credit for being so well rehearsed and doing all this research and coming so well prepared, but once in a while I'll throw out something that makes sense.
Actually, I just have Avery Jenkins and Nate Dawson, my left and right ears on Bluetooth, just feeding me all sorts of information. So I'm a fraud.
Katrina not pleased with it, but only after that last skip do I consider that, a little bit long.
She's going to flirt with that OB there. I believe all the rough on the left and the right is OB, but we'll see when we get there.
I practice a lot. It's a vice. An escape from stress, from work. It's my chance to just get away during the week. It's like meeting up with an old friend, you know? I'll never get tired of that sound.
We're back on hole 15 as we see our 4-time world champion and current leader sitting 23 down, Paige Pierce, lining up her 2nd shot. She's pulling out that trusty rangefinder. I'm assuming she's looking at that group of trees, trying to see how far away she is from them, knowing she has to get in front of them and not cut it too far left. Looks like she's got a putter in hand. Oh, or a mid-range. It's out of my jurisdiction. We need Robert.
That is a mid-range that she has. And that is
just absolutely perfectly well executed shot from Paige Pierce.
Here's a Sandy Point Resort and Disc Golf Ranch replay. Paige Pierce keeping it low, hitting the gap exactly where she needs to, just the right amount of speed, coming up just 10 to 12 feet short of the pin. I talked about how this hole is the only one left where you can find a lot of trouble or have a major stroke differential. And I know some of you may oppose or really hate this, but I have to call it. I think Paige Pierce now has this locked up. That shot was that impressive, and she's in control.
She is absolutely in control of her discs. It's unbelievable to be able to see. She's 80% fairway hits so far, 64% from circle one. Not seemingly amazing stats, but she's 83% from circle one in regulation. That shot was incredible. Low ceiling and everything, just the perfect amount of nose up to keep her disc sailing true and inside the circle. She'll have another birdie putt.
And laying up, playing for position. Thanks to Danny Lindahl out on the board. Danny, of course, famous for, well, I mean, really his commercial spots, but Danny is confirming with us that is a suspect with Tina Oakley's old MySpace picture featured on the disc. So, and he says old MySpace. I think it's her current MySpace picture, actually.
I'm going to assume that's a custom die and not
That
available at the Dynamic Discs site.
It could be. I'm sure Tina may have, maybe they printed a few more. No,
If
that's
she
one of
keeps
the.
playing as well as she is with them, we might have a situation on our hands.
That is one of the great features. I'll gladly shout them out. Dynamic Disc does their Dymax procedure, and that's exactly how that happens. So if you too want your old MySpace picture featured on a disc, Dynamic Disc and their Dymax can do that for you.
This is Katrina Allen up for her second shot of the day. It's her 19th event. She's got 8 wins, 1 finish outside of the top 3, which was when she took 4th place at Memorial. And one of her second place finishes was this past June on this very course when she took 2nd to Paige after giving up a 2-stroke lead in the final round of the Ledgestone Insurance Open.
And again, we see Seth. Seth, I believe, lives within a few minutes of here. So when you're talking about home course, as he helped develop and install and make the push to make this a reality, it's also just a few blocks away from him. And Katrina throwing her 3rd shot, still not as close as what we see from Paige after 2. And I'm gonna go ahead and just jump right to the next conversation piece, which is second place. 2nd and 3rd, Katrina and Evelina, as the two of them will seemingly have to battle it out for that position. Evelina's
giving herself a really much better opportunity for par from circle 1 than Katrina did. Katrina looking to be just about 30 feet away from the basket. Evelina 5 or 6 feet. Evelina's touring partner and the other highest rated professional woman in Finland, Hanna Blomroos, coming in with a 4 under for the day, putting her to 12 under, and for now, solo 4th place, 1 up on Sarah Hokum, 1 spot up from Sarah Hokum, 2 up on Sarah Hokum for the tournament.
Kristen Tatar is in the clubhouse. She has completed her world championships, 2 under par for today and 9 under overall. Congratulations to her. Get it.
Wow, great run again from Sarah Hokum. But still unable to connect with the basket from those long putts. You see tournament director Nate Heinold coming up in one of our shots after the Ledgestone Insurance Open in June. Nate ensured that there would be permanent cement tee pads for these FPO to compete on, all worlds. Oh, wow. Great putt from Katrina.
Still walking away with the par here. So very impressive by Katrina. She will give up just a single stroke if Paige can convert here. And Paige with just a textbook birdie here on hole number 15.
Paige has won 7 of her last tournaments in a row. Her lowest season finish came all the way back in February when she placed 7th at the Las Vegas Challenge.
She has not looked back since then. She said she wasn't fully prepared for that event, hence the 7th place finish. Right here at the World, she's looking to take her 5th world title. We're going to move over to hole number 16.
Hole number 16 is a 352-foot par 3. This is a tricky hole with the basket finishing off to the right. The ideal shot is a forehand, so I'll be interested to see if Evelina and Sarah Holcomb are going to attack it that way. I'm sure they are. The other option is the long turnover or a roller, which we've seen Katrina attempt on days 2 and on day 4. There have been 4 birdies on the day on hole number 16. Coming in at the 9th most difficult hole.
Averaging 2.81 for the day. We'll see if they can improve on that average. Great shot of the gallery as everyone is getting into position. Now 16, 17, and 18 are all very close to each other. You wouldn't necessarily think they're on top of one another, but they all, with regards to where they are, they're very close proximity. So someone here on 16, if you really just wanted to turn around, you'll essentially be able to see the fairway of 17, and then right where they're standing is actually not too far from the tee of 18. So
that's right.
I'm trying to do a little geography there for you, but everything is nice and close, and the gallery is treated to this excellent round out here today. Paige Pierce is in the driver's seat with just 3 holes left to play, as we are nearing nearly 8,000 viewers online. Thank you to Anheuser TV for being one of our Super Chat supporters here today.
There have been no circle 2 putts made on hole 16 today.
And if this continues to turn, she's going to love this shot.
Oh, wow.
Finding yourself on the right side of the pin, putting slightly uphill where she is right now, is very tough to do because you need to put the right amount of Anheuser on it and have it lightly fade back to the pin. It's all but certain you're going to see most of the shots finish to the left of the pin on this hole and usually be in circle 2. Paige, however, no problems turning that over. We'll see if Evelina can match it. Oh, and I think we're going to find that left side in circle 2. She does get caught up by the tree. Otherwise, I think that's where we would have seen her, approximately 50 feet on the left side.
Yeah, that guardian tree that she came into contact with is about 231 feet away from the basket. I'm sorry, away from the tee. Just put it up a little bit too high. Sarah Holcomb going for the forehand, hanging it out a little bit left. It's going to need to come in. It's hard to gauge the accuracy of the shot based on the gallery since they're clapping at everything. But
well, it's great to see their enthusiasm out there.
It really is. Sometimes these women play in front of galleries that don't know what to do, and it's really awesome. The community of disc golf that's been built here in Peoria, Illinois is great.
Here's Katrina. She has hit that stump in the past, and she just narrowly misses it. And as that turns up and turns over to the right, even with the understable roller, she's still left side. We'll be back on the green after a word from Zuka and other supporting sponsors.
Zuka is now producing limited edition color choices. Zuka can add custom embroidery to the front and/or sides of the bag. Zuka is now producing limited edition color choices. Zuka can add custom embroidery to the front and/or sides of the bag.
I can throw this disc around the world in one shot.
Never play disc golf too far into the jungle. There may be cheetahs.
Someone on your card can't recall if they threw a 6 or a 7. It was probably an 8.
See? Stay getting birdies, my friends.
We're back on hole number 16 at the 2019 PDGA World Championships, and we're watching Evelina with another perfect upshot. This is the 5th day of disc golf that we've seen these competitors.
Well, and it has been a marathon, as so many have talked about. You're talking about 5 rounds at 18 holes around. I think that comes to around 90 holes.
Math.
Yep, math is good. 90 holes of golf. And right now, it seems as if the odd number years are going to continue to treat Paige Pierce well, winning in 2000,
I know.
2011, 2013, 2015.
She took 5th place at her first ever World Championships professionally. She took, I believe, 3rd at Am Worlds, and then in 2010 she went into the Pro Worlds for the first time and took 5th. And then in 2011 she said, "Been there, done that. I'm going to win this thing," and continued to do that every other year until now, because she hasn't been crowned yet. And I don't
Correct.
want to say anything.
That's all right. I've claimed that.
But you understand where I'm going. It's absolutely incredible. Katrina putting for birdie from circle 2.
We'll see if Katrina can convert again. She is 5 strokes off of Paige Pierce, but battling at the moment with Evelina, who she just has a 1-stroke advantage over. Oh no.
Oh.
This.
And that is unfortunately one of the worst possible scenarios that can happen for hole 16. The green is relatively flat, but does start to slope down the closer you get to this tree next to Katrina.
Yeah, and that has unfortunately carried all the way down for Katrina.
See our Central Coast Disc Golf cameraman standing there taking in the action. For anybody who's unable to catch the coverage live with us now, you're able to watch it post-round on Central Coast Disc Golf's YouTube page. There's Katrina with an upshot, giving herself another tester putt for what will be bogey from circle 1. Evelina is sitting 1 down from Katrina so far and putting for par from circle 1.
And you have to feel that any pressure that Paige was previously feeling now has all but gone away now that she's seen that happen on Katrina's putt. And that one does slip out low and left. I know I mentioned earlier that anytime we see Paige miss, that seems to be the spot that she does so. And I don't know if her motion to the crowd, maybe she either heard something or had a distraction.
Katrina living it a bit low, just openly struggling on this putting green throughout this tournament.
Really tough to see here for Katrina Allen. She's going to be tapping in ultimately for double bogey.
I'm really interested to see Katrina just continue to hold it together. You see her continuously applauding the shot. She's, here standing next to Paige Pierce, just although we can see the emotion on her face, she's still being a very reserved, calm competitor. The camaraderie between these girls is absolutely amazing.
So Paige will tap in for the par. She'll remain at 24 under par.
Katrina will tap in her double bogey.
And she will move to 17 under. Evelina will remain at 18. So Evelina right now sitting in that 2nd place position. We have a brief walk over to 17. Our final par 4 of the tournament. What's the play here, Hannah?
So hole 17 is a 525-foot par 4. There's OB to the left of the fairway and a Mando tree about 325 feet on the right. This isn't a significantly far par 4 because of the Mando and the angle of the approach of the sloping green. The difficulty and need for strategy is definitely increased for this hole. I expect these women to throw some overstable fairway drivers, something they can control, but still get enough distance down the fairway to attack the basket and the green, which, as you can see, slopes down significantly and is surrounded by trees everywhere. We saw Katrina have a great second shot yesterday to the basket and go a little bit too far. Paige came in, was seemingly short and skipped up underneath the basket. That'll be interesting to see the attack. I mean, Katrina knows that she needs to continue to play smart. She needs to continue to play and make moves and try to give away as few strokes as possible. Evelina, on the other hand, you know, playing a relatively smooth game. She putted twice from the circle in hole 13, and so she's sitting -2 for the round, 2 bogeys at the start of the round. Holes 2 and 4 got the best of her, but with some OB. But other than that, she's playing relatively smooth. Paige Pierce, our leader, sitting -24 for the tournament.
Paige talked so much about that 10 under as a hot round at Sunset. She sits at 8 under with 2 holes left to play.
An absolute mash of a crush from Paige Pierce. Really not letting off the gas whatsoever.
And Paige pulled, as we like to say, the MJ, the Michael Johansson. She turned around almost immediately after releasing it and walked away. She knew that she threw a nearly perfect shot.
In the lower left-hand corner in pink, you see Henna Blomroos, Evelina's best friend, and they compete against each other nearly every time they compete in Finland. This golf is absolutely exploding in the northern European country of Finland. There are now a remarkable 450 courses in the nation of only 5.5 million, and the playing season is less than 6 months in a year.
Sarah Hokum pushing to that left side, but it's filtering back to the fairway. She'll be in a really good position with her forehand approach from there.
Paige Pierce remarking how she enjoys the physical and mental demand of the World Championships, studies her competitors on and off the course, and you can see a little bit of that in her YouTube channel, where she has an
entire segment focused just on her, on her competitors. Yeah, and we see Katrina continue to struggle. She's found the tree or the bush on the right side of the fairway. Unfortunately for Katrina, she has, I think she's just mentally exhausted. She knows that the World Championships are not going to come to her here. We know that she, of course, took that title in 2014, has not been able to regain that title in any year since, and Paige about to join that very elite club that we spoke of earlier with Juliana Korver, along with Elaine King, to become a 5-time women's world champion.
Back to Katrina for a second. She is battling all week, struggling with putting, not really struggling anywhere else, not letting it affect her anywhere else, taking her time off the course, doing everything she needs to do. The final day of the World Championships, and she's losing. She's losing to Paige Pierce. They've been battling back and forth for years now. And now here she is, you know, surrendered the lead significantly. And she can't give up, because the moment she starts to give up, she's going to fall further and further down this leaderboard. And she really needs to continue to battle and put her best foot forward, be confident, you know, work through it. And she's done this for 4 days already, almost 5. You know, they have 2 more holes to play. They're on the green of 17, and she's got to be feeling it, yes, but she's not giving up. And, you know, Evelina's got 2 strokes on her. She did Katrina carded the double bogey on the previous hole. So it'll be interesting to see how she continues to battle, but it's important to remember what exactly is going on mentally for these players.
And as I mentioned, Sarah was in perfect position for the forehand approach, and then she throws a really, truly a perfect approach. She's within 10 feet of the pin. This hole can be quite daunting, and as if it hadn't gotten bad enough for Katrina, she is just short of the mandatory. She must navigate, if she was on the tee, to the left of that mandatory, so she's going to exhaust a shot just to get out from that right side. As had she passed the mandatory, she would have gone to where those 2 flags are and thrown from there with a penalty. It didn't look like she passed it, but instead had to throw out into the left. So
it's interesting to me that she just did that, and photographer Alyssa Van Linden was standing mere feet from where her shot landed. Usually the pros will say, "I'm coming out, please move," or "Please stand still." And Katrina, I think, just in full either focus mode or frustration, said, "Here I come. Look out, world."
And Again, Katrina appears to be taking a moment. That looks to be a bit short. And thankfully she gets the roll to at least the opening there, the mouth of that gap, because had she been short and in the right side there, that would have been a lot of trouble. Right side as from her vantage point.
Absolutely. And it's almost okay that it's coming up a little bit short. Like we saw yesterday, we thought Paige's approach would be short, and she ended up having a lot of movement on the green and landing right inside circle 1 near the basket.
As we're looking at the scores, we have to talk a little just about Katrina's start. She was 3 down through the first 7 holes, matching stroke for stroke with Paige, taking the outright lead. And it just seems as if the back got to her. And Evelina, however, is right there ready to take that second podium spot. And I'm going to go ahead and boastfully call or just suggest, or not suggest, I'm going to call it. Evelina is going to finish in second place here at the World Championships.
For her upshot and finish, you would say hyvä heitto, which means good shot.
Kitos. The only word I know. And now here's Paige Pierce finally getting to where her drive had landed. And this should all be routine stuff for Paige Pierce. Of course, she wants to maintain that focus. Paige is the type that if she has the opportunity to win by 4 or 8, she loves to make that statement and still be aggressive. And
she's going to have CTP on her upshot. And in Paige Pierce, seemingly 5-time style.
So again, we'll take a look. Of course, everyone is in. All of the other groups have completed their tournament. Right now, we're seeing Kristen Tatar in that 6th place position. Lisa Fakis with a pretty solid day out there. She must have given a few back late in the round, but she still ended with a 4 under par. Holly Finley also had the great start, finished with the 3 under. Rebecca Cox struggled slightly, and Valerie Mundahano finishing in the top 10.
A little while ago, we saw the scorecard come up in the screen, and further down the scorecard, if you go on udisclive.com, you'll see Emily Beach. I believe this is her first World Championship. She's from Cedar Rapids, Iowa, an Innova teammate of mine. She shot a -5 today, taking 7 birdies and 1 double bogey, moving up 5 spots, tied for 15th. She was the last competitor to make the cut today for Championship Saturday.
And as they walk away, I know we saw this during the Ledgestone Insurance Open. That's yet another element of this very dangerous green is anytime there's the ground is wet, you also have to worry about potential mudslides or slipping and maybe even injuring yourself, as we see a few of them tiptoeing away from there. Paige will tap in for a birdie to push her to 26 under par. And
bringing her into that -9 goal that she had, 1 stroke off of her -10 goal that she had. Sorry. So
I believe that brings her to -10, actually, if I do my math right, once UDisc updates.
Oh, right. Yeah, thank you.
Here's Dixon Jowers for our last check-in.
What just happened over these last few holes? I feel like there's times in my life where I wish I could be an emoji or like a meme or something, because there's almost no way to describe the feeling that's going on out here, the incredible sway of emotions that's gone on over the last few holes of just absolute deflation for Katrina and her World Championship hopes. And all of a sudden, unless something drastic happens on this last hole, Katrina's not even in second place. The battle right now is actually between Sarah and Henna for 4th place. Paige is 6 shots clear. This is this turned on a dime all of a sudden. So Paige has held it together over the last few holes despite feeling immense pressure. While it's kind of dissipating for everybody else, they're kind of getting used to what's going to happen. It's building and building and building on Paige. Let's go see the payoff here on the last hole of the World Championships.
I think it's fair to say, as we're getting into the whole preview here, Hannah, I don't need a Dixon emoji. I may love his insights. I don't need an emoji. What are they trying to do to round out and complete their World Championships?
This is the last hole, like you said, of the World Championships. It's a 383-foot par 3. These competitors will be throwing a hard flex shot into the circle. They want to land more towards the top of the hill, making sure to match the angle of the hill. If the disc has too much height, it's going to hyzer all the way down the hill, like we saw Katrina do yesterday. So the more right they keep it, the better. So far, we've seen Evelina play this hole two times, and each time she's been putting for birdie from circle 1. Let's see if she can do that again and maintain her second place. Paige Pierce, our leader at 26 down, 6 strokes on the rest of the field. No fear, no worries, Hakuna Matata. She is coming in for the last hole of the World Championships. I think you're rubbing off on me, Terry.
Well, here we are. We also have heard of a slight, possibly misentry or misstep here on UDisc. We'll get the official score sorted out, but Paige Pierce.
Keeping it very wide, still matching the angle of the hill a little bit. She'll have an easy up and down from there, and she has made long putts on this hole before. Evelina just needing that to hold on a little bit longer. It's going to come in and
Oh, yeah.
amazing. Just 3 for 3 having circle 1 putts. The young Finn, 19 years old, first time to the World Championships, and she's looking to lock in second place.
And if that just hooks up, we'll have Sarah Hokum putting maybe from circle 1, or at least the edge of it.
UDisc says she's putting for birdie from circle 2, and I feel like that's what's been the case all day.
And you see the wind, which I feel like is the biggest indicator of the entire day, is the trees here on 18. And just right around the circle will be Katrina. I think we're going to try and follow them down the fairway as we are about to conclude our World Championships. Paige Pierce with a sizable lead walking up to her final hole. This is just incredible, Hannah. See if we can listen in as to what's being said.
We have one of the best Zuka questions in life. You want to be pushed down a hill or pushed down the hill? I'd rather be pushed.
Evelina.
And Paige Pierce appears to be retreating a little bit. She wants to possibly enjoy the moment.
Paige Pierce averaging 992 rated golf so far for this tournament, 19 points above her rating. She shot a 1029 rated -9 yesterday, and looks like she's gonna
Likely
playing the -9 again today. UDisc has updated for us, but
Paige taking her stance not far off, albeit not quite as high on the hill, but at least the same distance away from the pin as we saw her at Ledgestone. And this time she opts for the layup, and she will have the dunk for the World Championship title. Paige Pierce again carding a 9 under. The last 2 days we see her going 18 under in 36 holes to claim her 5th world title. See PDGA Executive Director Joe Chargaloff in attendance. Tina continuing to pull the cart.
see Sarah Hokum putting for birdie from circle 2. She's going to need to get this putt in order to be tied for 4th with Henna Blomroos. Unfortunate lie for Sarah Hokum. She does miss that putt, so she'll be putting for par from circle 2, taking 5th place. Sorry, she'll be putting for par from circle 1. Evelina in the basket for circle 2. 20 down for the tournament. This solidifies her as our second place champion here today at the World Championships.
Should be very proud as a international competitor here that came and was vying for the title. Today comes up a bit short. And here is Paige Pierce to be your 5-time women's world champion. Congratulations, Paige Pierce. Hug from 2012 world champ Sarah Holcomb, also from Evelina.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing your 2019 PDGA Professional Disc Golf World Champion and 5-time World Champion, Paige Pierce.
I believe Paige is signing her first 5-time world champion.
One more, baby.
Paige sharing an intimate moment with her family. Well deserved.
I think Paige was maybe even surprised by some of her family members.
If we keep the camera on Juliana, we may be able to see the handshake.
Go, Adam.
Yep.
Paige.
And Paige embraced by 5-time world champion Juliana Korver as well, her good friend Alyssa Van Lannen.
I'm gonna try not to get too That's right,
Hugs all around between Zoe Andyke and Missy Gannon. And Paige will complete the scorecard, and then I think we're going to have Paige
We're going to have
possibly Steve
an award
Hill.
ceremony right here for these great competitors in 60 seconds.
And Nate Heinold says, I'm swatting to fly away here. Wow, congratulations. That's the first thing I have to say. Congratulations. Paige Pierce, your 5-time women's world champion.
I know. Oh no, Terry's crying again. Wow, what an incredible performance from Paige. I mean, after rounds 1 and 2, she was, +1 after round 1. She came back to Sunset Hills and shot a -4, still up 8 spots from the previous day, but not enough to put her on the lead card. Third place, third time at Northwood Blue, she cards a -4, still behind Evelina and Katrina, who really had the tournament locked up at that point. We were kind of wondering who would win. And then she's on the lead card yesterday, ties it all up, shoots a -9, an amazing 10-29 rated round, and then comes out today and shoots again another -9. Her average for this World Championships is out of control. I mean, she averaged almost 1,000 rated golf. I would not be surprised if the 992 rated average for this round, 18 points above her rating, a measly 18 points above her rating, would not go over that 1,000 mark. So it's just incredible to me, the caliber of skill that it took to place well at this World Championships. Just to make the cut, you had to average 930 rated golf at 2 courses that are completely different from each other. Northwood Blue obviously being tight and wooded and long fairways. Still fair for these women, but we didn't see as many hot scores coming in. And then you come out here where everything is seemingly a birdie, and Paige Pierce just absolutely opened up and dominated mentally, physically, never let a moment get her, really ran the whole marathon. And I'm not speechless, clearly, but just an absolute privilege to watch. Amazing disc golf out here. And we're so thankful for all of you that tuned in and joined us. I mean, I think we had a record-breaking 8,500 people with us today. And that doesn't count if somebody has it on their TV and there's 8 people in the room. So it's difficult to say, but, I'm so just congratulations, Paige.
Yeah.
Well deserved.
I mean, the 5-time club is clearly something that has been a mark that Paige has been going after now for the last year and a half or so since collecting that 4th world title. It's been a goal for so many, and to be in that elite class that she's in, to see her work as hard as she has throughout the last few years, It's just incredible to see. So, of course, congratulations to Paige Pierce and to all of her competitors here this week. I think we're going to have Steve Hill of the PDGA along with Paige Pierce. Here she is.
All right, I'm joined by 2019 PDGA World Champion Paige Pierce. Paige, congratulations. How does this one feel?
Really good. I haven't really fully had time to process it yet, but yeah, it feels really good.
You told me earlier this week and several times throughout the week that this was going to be a putting world championship, and you brought it today. How important was your preparation out on these greens to the performance today?
Crucial. Actually, I've been playing for 20-something years, and this week I had my favorite practice round I've ever played with Zoe and Missy Gannon, and we weren't even actually really gonna play around. We just wanted to get familiar with all the greens and just putt. And Zoe was world champion putting last year, Missy's world champion putting this year, and it was, we just fueled each other, and we just vocalized every single thought that we had on this course. Like, okay, if I park it, I'm probably going to be on this side of the green. If I, the error on this one is if I'm outside the circle, I probably, let up and hyzered out to the left. And so we would putt from everywhere that we thought was a potential to land, and we put money on the line and stakes, and I think that was crucial in these last two rounds, just knowing, every inch of the green, and I think that it's the most prepared that I've been, and it's good to see that does pay off.
You had a few holes to go, and it was pretty sealed up, if we can be honest. At what point did you really let yourself soak it all in? I mean, I saw you had the Sharpie out there ready to go. When did you really let yourself say, okay, this is my tournament?
After my drive landed in bounds on 17. Yeah, I mean, the worst I'm going to do really is get a 5 on it, and the best somebody else is going to do is a 3 on it. So I kind of knew already, but you never know. I've won and lost tournaments on the last hole so many times, on the last putt. And so it's hard to get too comfortable until it's over. You really have to focus on every shot, and that's something that I struggled with for the first 3 days.
Now, you joined the ranks of 5-time world champions alongside Elaine King and Juliana Korver. Juliana was here in the crowd. I mean, what does this mean to you now to put your name up there with them?
I mean, it's something that I've been dreaming about since I got the first one, and then the second and the third, and when I joined Val at the 3, and then we both moved to 4. It was awesome, just because she was in my time period, and just to be neck and neck with Val, and even still, if she was out here, she would have been on this podium, and now to join Juliana and Elaine is, I don't even know if I really have words for it yet.
I think they just called your name for some awards, so I'm going to let you go do that. Paige, congratulations once again, 5-time world champion.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, and we'll send it back to you guys in the studio. Cool. Head on over. I think they won.
Again, thank you, Steve Hill. Of course, again, congratulations to Paige Pierce. I'm going to quickly reflect, hopefully not get too emotional, I apologize, but I've seen all of Paige's world titles.
Wow.
I've seen her crowned champion. I've seen, in fact, every world champion crowned over the last 22 or so years that I've been involved with disc golf. I'm at the age of 41. Paige has done so with such grace and class over these last few years, and watching the 2015, Sarah Holcomb and her were battling back and forth. Yeah. Sarah Holcomb gives up the lead by being in a car wreck, and Paige ultimately wins and, kind of dedicates her performance to Sarah, and to see her dad and her family all embrace. Disc golf is obviously such a family sport. We're such a tight-knit community, and I just can't say enough about it. Let's listen to Paige yet again for another moment first.
And support it every day, so thank you so much. I haven't even processed it yet. I mean, last year was heartbreaking for me. I didn't feel like I put one round together that I was happy with, and after 3 rounds this week, I was in that same spot. And golf is so mental,
And everyone has thoughts that creep in. We all go through it, but you really have to find a way to silence those. Yeah, I managed to do it. I don't even really know how. I just focused really, really hard. Steve Brinster sat me down for 45 minutes the other day and just told me, I've never walked up to a shot that I focused too much on. Whatever you think you're doing and you think you're focusing, focus harder. I never took one shot for granted, even the 6-footers. There was a couple that I missed because I was shaking so much, but I focused on every shot on the last 2 rounds, and I think that was the key for me this week. So I want to thank Steve Brinster. I want to thank all the media for covering the women. This is amazing, the gallery that we have here, so thank you all so much. Thanks for growing the sport with us. And I want to say thank you to Alyssa and Nate. After Worlds last year, I'm not really a crier, but I cried every day for maybe a month. And they just told me how it was. These are their words, I spend every day with you and you never practice. Go practice. How can you expect to win if you don't practice? And Kona told me the same thing in our practice round. Hey, right around the time you started practicing this year, you started winning. It's funny how that works. But I just, I want to thank everybody that I reach out to practice with. You guys really, really motivate me. Missy, Zoe, Kona, Kristen, Evelina, Henna, you guys, and Sarah and Lisa. You guys seriously motivate me so much, and I learned so much from each and every one of you, and I hope that I can send that to you guys as well. And I'm going to go celebrate. I'm just blabbling now. Thank you guys so much. I want to say thank you to Seth and Jerry, everybody here at Sunset. This course, you guys made it 4 strokes harder just for us and for the World Championships, really put our skill on the line. Nate, you absolutely nailed Northwood Gold, or Northwood Blue for us. You nailed it, and the courses that we played were awesome. I really, really enjoyed it. All the staff was great, and I want to thank my family for coming out and watching the final day. And thank you to my sponsors. I absolutely would not be here without, I know exactly what my disc is going to do if I throw it like this or like this. And it's nice to have a bag I can rely on with Dee and Keen Footwear. I never really slip unless it's really slick. Hole 6 at Northwood. And OTV. Thank you guys. Oh my God. One more. This is so hard for me, y'all. I'm so sorry. Tina, get up here, girl. This is ours for sure. You played every practice round with me yesterday. She's like, let's get some mimosas, good 9 under. I'm like, no, I'm going to play that back 6. Let's go. Missy, you're coming. Let's go. And look at this little fanny pack. She has got everything I could ever need. She made me breakfast every day. I know I didn't eat anything today, so I really want to go eat, but I seriously, absolutely could not have done it without you. And we won 2 majors already this year. It's amazing. Thank you guys.
Also, real quick, we wanted to do one more thing. For the occasion, we had some custom minis made to give to the winner. It just says women's pro world champion.
All right, and Seth stepping in. Of course, I'm gonna put that one in my back pocket page, because if there's anyone that can blabble, it's me from time to time. So I'm gonna take that comment, put it in my back pocket. But just a gracious, humble, amazing. There's so many ways to describe Paige Pierce. Besides just being a fierce competitor, she also has all of those other amazing qualities about her. So
And I'm glad she's practicing.
Yeah, just think how good Paige Pierce is when she doesn't practice, and then you put in a few practice rounds on top of it, and she can be seemingly unstoppable, adding her 5th world title to her resume, and just so incredible. Hannah, dare I say, is there any parting shots, any way you want to start to close this out here for the World Championships?
Yeah. I want to start with Sarah Holcomb. She played incredible golf today, had a lot of mental battles. She averaged 938 golf when they played Sunset Hills at Ledgestone, and now she, not counting today, averaged 991. She's her rating's 958, and she averaged 991 golf at Sunset for the World Championships. So shout out to her. Katrina, your 3rd place. Just an amazing show mentally. Katrina is a fierce competitor. She dominated on the fairways. Her upshots were amazing, and she's walking away from this with a lot of hard feelings, and I think just a lot to get through. So for any Katrina fans out there, I would reach out to her and just share the love and share your encouragement, because her Circle 1 is what kept her back from becoming a world champion, but everything else, amazing. Evelina, we have to talk about her. 19 years old, 36 career wins, 61 events, 1st World Championships, card 2nd. I did my research on every single FPO member. I know them forwards and backwards, and I know how many freckles they have, on their hands. No, I'm just kidding. But anyways, Evelina, I don't think anyone has come out to their 1st World Championships and taken a 2nd place finish. Paige Pierce came close with a 5th place finish. Katrina Allen did not do that. Sarah Holcomb didn't do that. And any of the other girls, a lot of the other girls that we saw on the lead card throughout this World Championships were first timers. And then obviously Paige Pierce. I mean, this is her 9th event of the year, and she's won the last 8 now. The least amazing. And she said it best in her speeches. She's mentally just came out. She surrounded herself with a positive, supportive community. She came out and just destroyed it. And she has another off-year World Championship title. 2011, she won her 1st. She followed it up with 2013, 15, 17, and now again in 2019. That's another odd year title is what I meant to say.
Yeah.
That's amazing. 264 events for her career, 165 wins. Oh my gosh, just unbelievable. I hope she keeps practicing. I hope she keeps dominating and pushing herself. And I'm sure this just means, clearly it means so much to her. And it means a lot for women's disc golf. This week was a great week for women's disc golf. We were in the news, I think, more than the men. The men have had a lot going on. We're going to see that later today. I know we need to wrap things up so we can get over there. But wow, thank you so much for all watching. I've been in the FPO game for a short time, since her 1st world title, which I went because she was in the lead and we wanted to support her, in 2015, her 2nd world title, and just let's keep growing women's disc golf. Let's keep pushing each other and being the best that we can be.
Well, and I'll quickly piggyback on that. I know here at SmashBoxxTV, we are so thrilled to do whatever we can. We're just a tiny little piece of that to help push women's disc golf. The record numbers of people that are tuned in from literally around the world have been so positive and encouraging for us. And like you said, for the growth of women's disc golf. And we hope it just continues to be on the rise and trend in the right direction, as some would say. Everything you said, the one thing I'll follow up on, all of our great competitors throughout the entire field.
Oh, unbelievable.
Every single world champion I've ever talked to or interviewed at any point, usually after their win, they'll tell you the same thing. My putting. I practiced my putting. Yeah. I spent 1 hour a day or 3 hours a day or 5 hours a day, whatever it is. Literally every world champion I've ever talked to that wants to know what the key to success was, they will all tell you it's their putting. So that's something to take away. Paige Pierce said she not only practiced her putting, but also she knew the greens and knew where she wanted to be throughout this entire tournament. So if you ever want to even think about or dream about becoming a world champion in any division, putting is going to be the way that you're going to need to get there. So I'll leave you with that. So we're going to wrap things up. Of course, we have to thank our tremendous cameramen who are actually pulling double duty here today to give you the men's and the women's finals at World Championship Saturday. Joey Tamale, along with Gary to the O and Ryan Pilcher, who stepped in this week. Dixon Jowers, who was out in the field. Johnny V was back at the controls. We had a little bit of Steve Hill also bringing in some interviews at the end.
And Juliana Corver.
Juliana Corver, of course.
Being a part of our coverage.
For sure, as it added yet another highlight to us. And our gracious host here at Sunset Hills will be back here in the booth at Sunset Hills for the afternoon's coverage out at Lake Eureka. But they've been so gracious, exactly as Paige Pierce mentioned, not only for this event, but also for the Ledgestone Insurance Open. So for one final time here from the FPO side, as Paige Pierce is crowned your world champion, we are going to sign off. Thank you again to Hannah Macbeth for being the most tremendous co-host I could possibly ask for here this week. All the work that she does, it's been incredible, and we know that you've enjoyed it because she is also such a superstar. So for Hannah Macbeth, Terry Miller, the disc golf guy, we'll see you as we crown our MPO champion later this afternoon. But first, one final congratulations, Paige Pierce, your 2019 world champion. We'll see you next time.
SmashBoxxTV would like to thank the following sponsors: the PDGA, Infinite Discs, Discraft, the DGA, Prodigy Discs, the City of Peoria, and all of these other generous sponsors.